What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 160 of the Tasty Cast, our weekly podcast where we talk about random things in gaming. My name's Seth, and of course, joining me today is Chevy, back in the room. Hopefully you're doing well. And before we kick off everything that we typically talk about in a Tasty Cast, including game releases in February and what we've been playing, how do you feel about the implementation of AI? Everybody's talking about it. But specifically in gaming, a lot of people have been talking about, like, for instance, EA has been wanting to make AI-controlled NPCs that you couldn't distinguish from actual players to kind of supplement games that maybe communities are running dry, so they can keep, like, having, people playing with you, essentially. And the new news that Sony AI, as they call themselves, that division of Sony, and Polyphony, the people who are making Gran Turismo 7, are working together on a project that will be revealed on February 9th.
All right. I think the short answer is it doesn't matter, but I think they're going to do it anyways.
It's fair.
But as far as my opinion goes, I mean, anything to supplement the game so that it doesn't become useless as quick, I think is a good thing. I mean, it's specifically in things that are inherently, multiplayer experiences competitively. I always bitch when things don't have bot support, and this is just kind of the next step in that direction anyway. So hopefully it's still somewhat adjustable because, not everyone has the same skill levels and stuff. But
True. Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny that for the longest time, I'll never stop bitching about it. Bot support. I want more and more bot support in games. I think bot support's a good thing, and I've always been interested in, like, not the modern idea of AI, because now we're getting into, like, really advanced things, but like scripting an AI on NPCs in games. I was always really impressed with Fear's AI. Still am. And a lot of games, but bot support's always been a big thing, and that's kind of faded. Some games will have bot support. I'm like, good. Like, I'm glad you're doing that. But now I feel like we're going to get like a surge of bot support in games once the AI kicks off. So it's going to be really interesting to have gone into different stages throughout gaming of going like, oh, yeah, there's bots and time splitters. Good. It should be that way. Then later it's like, hey, this game's dying. It'd be great if it had bot support because I like playing it. And now that people are leaving, I'm kind of dependent on the fucking community for me to be able to play this game. And then later, with the AI coming in, that hopefully can remedy it. It does bring up a lot of questions on how that'll work. If there's different difficulties of AI you'll be able to do, but it is an interesting concept to think about.
Set AI to 5-year-old, please.
Yeah. And not a really good fucking prodigy 5-year-old, just a normal one.
I don't want him to be cracked.
We don't need some
basic
savant getting in here and destroying me, because then I gotta think the 5-year-old AI savant destroyed me in fucking Call of Duty. But yeah, it raised a lot of really interesting questions on the frontier of that. But like I said, kind of leading into it, this is news and something that will be revealed later this week, which is very interesting. Sony AI, that's what they're calling it, and Polyphony have been working on something for a while. I guess a year ago, Sony had come out and said they were running projects on how to teach an AI how to drive a car. So I'm pretty sure that is a early representation of probably what we're going to be seeing on February 9th. So before we talk about that, and there's not much more to talk about, just more so I wanted to get your take on it. We have a teaser that doesn't show anything, but we're going to watch it anyway so people can be on the same page as us on Sony AI and Polyphony Digital Race Together teaser. And this is a teaser for the thing that's coming up. It's 24 seconds long, so we'll watch it real quick and then we'll talk about it. All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. Have you noticed since the Xbox Activision acquisition, Sony's been dominating news? You haven't? It's like literally every fucking day I hear something new about another thing Sony's doing. Including this.
That was colorful.
It was very colorful. No, what I mean by that is like, and that's a whole other topic too, but like people keep talking about Jade Raymond, who used to work at Ubisoft. She's working on an online game for Sony right now for PS5. And then there's another company, I forgot what they're called. They're also working on a shooter for Sony for PS5. That keeps popping up in the news lately. Mark Cerny, who engineered the PlayStation, he's going to be helping, I think, Jade Raymond work on her next game to get the most out of the PS5 as of right now. And then all the acquisition talk of Sony, possibly buying a Japanese company. Everybody's speculating, of course, From Software, Capcom, Square Enix. Those are the big ones everybody thinks. Konami. So it's just been really interesting that in the wake of huge news with the Microsoft thing, the Bungie thing, a lot of people didn't care about, honestly. But now the news cycle's back to Sony again. It's amazing how quickly that fucking turned around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You hadn't heard any of that.
That's wild. I guess I'm just reading gaming news a lot. But anyway, what do you think about what we saw? It's very colorful. What do you think it's going to be?
I mean, that didn't leave much to go off of there.
It didn't leave anything to go off of, so we got to use our imaginations.
I'm going to assume it's either going to be some like little tech demo for the AI that'll involve, cars. Maybe it'll be an add-on for Gran Turismo, or it has emphasized play on there a bunch. So my initial thought is out the window. I was thinking maybe Sony's deciding to get into the fucking car business here and make a smart car, but yeah, I just assume it's going to be like a demo or an add-on. So
what I want it to be is them to come out and say that they've been working on AI, with driving AI specifically, for like at least a year, and that Gran Turismo 7 will feature some kind of advanced driving AI. I would love to hear that, right? But this seems like more of a Sony event and less of a gaming event, and it more so seems like more of a Sony AI reveal of what is possible with their AI. And it feels like, and what's showing here with people driving, that these people might be racing against some AI they've created that I don't even know if will be in Gran Turismo, but maybe they're using Gran Turismo to showcase this AI racing, like legit, it's taking over the controller and it's playing against these people, and to show how seamless it is. I don't know if it'll be in Gran Turismo 7, but I think that's probably what it's going to be. That's what I assume. And this will only be like a preview of what's to come with what Sony's done with AI. Because that's what, I mean, everybody's, like I said earlier, people keep talking about, like, with AI, we'll do this and that and this and that. And of course, Sony's going to get in on that. Sony's a tech company. So that's what I think it's going to be. But I would love to see it implemented into GT7. It would be really cool to, well, first off, just upgrade AI in racing games, which is just typically not that great. I think Gran Turismo's AI has always been better than a lot of games. But to add like personality and human characteristics to an AI, the way it drives, in a racing game would be fantastic. Specifically a sim game. I think AI in fighting games will be really fucking cool though, because AI in fighting games is like either letting you win or kicking your ass. So, yeah. Any thoughts?
Not really.
Anything you would like to see AI implemented in?
I mean, besides what we've already talked about, I have like no like big picture thoughts on this stuff. They're just going to put it where they put it, and I'm either going to like it or not. So
yeah. Well, eventually it will be in our games and in everything else, so we can look forward to that. Hopefully, it's implemented well, and I would love to see. I'd love to see the conversation around AI in games come back anyway, because for a while there, certain games are really trying to advance AI for NPCs in gaming, and that's kind of gone away. I would love to see a game come out that like revolutionizes what to expect from enemy characters or whatever. I mean, even like, when like Half-Life 2 came out, people were talking about like all the tech that was in the game. I want that to happen again, but we're also in a weird time in gaming where like it's all kind of merged together. There's less leaps, it seems. So anyway, time will tell, and in a couple days we'll get to see what this event is. And like I said, I think it's going to be its own thing. I don't think it's going to be a game related thing outside of that they're using GT, but we will see. Hopefully I am surprised by it, but let us know in the comments, what do you guys think about this Sony AI Polyphony Digital Race Together teaser? What do you think it might be? What do you think about AI as it pertains itself to gaming, and what would you like to see from it? Do you have any concerns? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right, it's the first Tastecast of February, so we're going to jump into game releases, and then we'll jump into what we've been playing. So yeah, we're going to go through this list. This list is via GameSpot, and we're going to read what's coming out in February, and we will discuss our hype for these games. So, all right, let's jump into that in February. I got everything on screen, right? Yep. Okay. In February, we got Life is Strange Remastered Collection coming out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, PC, February 1st. So that came out. The Waylanders came out on PC February 2nd. Dying Light 2, Stay Human, came out February 4th on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Sifu has also finally come out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PC, February 8th. So as of recording, but I know there was an early access thing that a lot of people were doing. Ollie Ollie World has come out as well as of recording on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And then February 10th, we got Crossfire X finally coming out on Xbox Series and Xbox One. Interestingly enough, Remedy helped or did make the campaign to that, which is really fucking weird. It has me curious. I don't expect much from it, but anyway, No by Heart on PC coming out February 10th. Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD coming out on Xbox Series, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, February 11th. Lost Ark comes out on PC February 11th. Isn't that
early access?
Early access.
If you bought into it.
Okay. A lot of early access going on. I was like, I could have swore you can do the pre-download right now.
Yeah. So as of this episode releasing, it should be available to play.
Yeah. So February 11th, unless you got that early access on PC. Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires coming out on February 15th for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. So everything. King of Fighters 15 on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, and PC, February 17th. Total War Warhammer 3 PC, February 17th. Horizon Forbidden West is finally coming out on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, February 18th. Destiny The Witch Queen comes out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC, keeping the dream of Stadia alive, February 22nd. Monarch comes out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC, February 22nd. Soul Cresta comes out on PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC, February 22nd as well. Martha is Dead comes out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC, February 24th. And then finally, the long-awaited legendary of Myth and Legend, Elden Ring, comes out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC, February 25th. And then finally, we got Grid Legends coming out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC, February 25th as well. Chevy, what games are you excited for? What games have you already bought? And what are you feeling about February?
So I'm curious about Sifu. I think I'm going to probably check out a little bit, see if there's any live streams I can catch or something. To see if it's something I do want to actually just go ahead and pull the trigger on. I bought into the early access for Lost Ark, so I plan on playing that as soon as I can. And Horizon Forbidden West, I will be picking up as well. I am going to make a big effort to just sit down and play it so I don't put it off till the end of the year and go, oh crap, I have to play this so I have an opinion on games this year.
Yeah.
And Elden Ring's a giant maybe, and that's going to be dependent on quite a few factors, but I'll keep my eyes on that. So,
how do you feel about Dynasty Warriors?
I'm pretty sure Dynasty Warriors 9 was not the good one. So
yeah, but this is a new version, so hopefully they fixed it. I haven't looked into it at all.
I just assume it's the same game, kind of like obviously it's that Game of the Year edition, but something along those lines. I could be wrong. I don't know anything.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it is that, but hopefully they've made some improvements. I honestly have not looked into it though, because I got excited when I first saw it. I was like, oh shit, Dynasty Warriors, and I was like, wait, wasn't 9 like not liked because they tried to do like the open world thing and like they just didn't nail it. So
Yeah, it just wasn't implemented well.
yeah, I'll have to look into it, see what they're doing with Empires because I'm kind of curious about that. All right, anything else?
Nope.
All right, so let's see. Dying Light 2 Stay Human is the only game I've been playing since its release. So I have picked that up, and I will be talking about that on What We've Been Playing segment coming up very soon. Sifu is on my hit list. I want to pick it up. The only reason I haven't picked it up yet is I don't have the time to play it right now. I'm playing Dying Light 2, and I'm trying to play the fuck out of it because I'm trying to prioritize my time, and I've already put like 40 hours into it, so... once I get a little bit of opening, I will pick up Sifu because I really want to pick it up. People are saying a lot of really good things about it. One thing I think a lot of people weren't expecting, but now it's just fact. Everybody has been saying it, is it's difficult. I think a lot of people, when they watch the trailers, I didn't really think about it either. Didn't know there was going to be like a fucking hard-ass game. But everybody's playing it, and at first people are like, whoa, this game's really hard. And then people are like, I love this. So... it's very interesting to see the reaction to that. But I saw some people saying it was like one of their favorite games they've played in years.
That's quite the statement.
Well, like, but how awesome is that too? These guys made Absolver, which was like a cool idea, but they didn't nail it. Sifu, they make it, and it's like kind of right up their alley with what they did with Absolver. They just made it a little more like pinpointed on what they're trying to do with it, but they maintained the combat system, just expanded it, and now it's being praised. And it's like, holy shit, that's really cool to see. Because Absolver kind of like came out, some people played it, no one talked about it, and then they put it out on PlayStation Plus. We played it, we talked about it, but no one really cared. And yeah, now Sifu's just blowing up. I'm like, that's fucking really cool to see. So I'll be picking that up for sure. Definitely want to support them. I definitely want to try it. Ollie Ollie World, I keep seeing everywhere. Everybody's like fucking talking it up. And I looked at it and I was like, is this something that's good? Have you heard anything about it? All right, well, I keep seeing stuff on it. I'm like, okay, it doesn't really look that interesting to me, but let me know in the comments if you've played it or seen somebody play it, and it's worth picking up. But yeah, I don't know. It's like a skateboarding thing. I don't know. Crossfire X, I mean, isn't that a free-to-play game? I'm curious about the Remedy part of that, but I mean, it's like Crossfire has been like this huge Counter-Strike rival in like Asia for like a long time, and so that it's coming here, I'm not even fucking like, I didn't care.
How are you even gonna play it?
I have an Xbox One. It's buried somewhere out back, but that's a good question. It's weird it's not on PC.
Yeah, that is weird.
Maybe I can stream the Xbox version on PC.
Maybe
through Game Pass. That'd be weird.
It'd be weird if they had like a legitimate exclusive.
Yeah, that would be very weird. That's an Xbox game. That's also on PC in like China and stuff, I think, or Korea. I don't remember. I
think it's popular in Korea.
It's been around for a long time. It's like one of the biggest games in the world. Apparently, they always say like it's got like this many people who've played it. I'm like, are they playing it right now? Anyway, moving on. No by Heart. I don't know. I'm naming them all. I'm not going to play that unless somebody says something good about it. I did buy into Lost Ark because we played the beta. So I will be playing it for sure. I've been getting like a real bad MMO itch lately, which is the worst. This is the worst month to get that itch. I'd be like, I want to play the fucking MMO. I like updated ESO. I was getting ready to pull the trigger on Final Fantasy 14. Lost Ark is a straight up MMO, and it's out. So this is probably the one I'm going to land on. But I will for sure be playing this. But I will be kind of hopping in and out of this in between sessions of playing all the big titles coming out this month. So, but yeah, I'm excited to actually sit down and like be able to put effort and time into a fucking character on that game and not just be doing a beta and go, well, I don't want to play too much.
After we played that one day, I was kind of like, I need to not play more.
Yeah. Yeah, we played it pretty generously, and I was going to play it some more, but I was like, nah, I got it. Like, I'll play it when it comes out. Yeah. I don't want to fucking burn myself out on a game that's not out yet. Yeah. Curious about Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. If somebody wants to let me know in the comments what that is, I can also just do my own research, I guess. But is it going to be worth picking it up? Because it sucks missing out on Dynasty Warriors. I really liked 7 and 8. Those were like really good. And then 9 came out and everyone hated it. I was like, eh. So yeah, hopefully Empires fixes a lot of stuff. I don't know if it will. Let's see. Kind of curious about Total War Warhammer 3. It seems like a pretty big deal, but I'm not a big Total War fan, but I could be possibly. So curious about that. Horizon Forbidden West is a must play. In fact, once I get my fill on Dynasty Warriors, fucking Dying Light 2, I will be moving on to Horizon Forbidden West. That is my plan. So 100% buying that, 100% going to play through and beat it. Let's see. I don't know who Martha is. Elden Ring is my next game that I have to beat Horizon Forbidden West
in 7 days.
In 7 days. Here's my plan. I don't see myself beating Elden Ring quickly. I feel like I'm gonna want to play around with classes, builds, explore that world, look at every nook and cranny, and I feel like I'm gonna do the same thing in Horizon as well. But Horizon's gonna have like a really straightforward story and stuff like that. So I feel like that's the one I'm gonna prioritize finishing first. Unless Elden Ring I play it and it's just like so good I can't go back. But I don't see that happening. So. Anyway, a lot of big games coming out this month. So yeah, Elden Ring though is the game, last game I'll be picking up this month probably. Grid Legends, I don't even know what the fuck that is really. I'm sure it's one of the grid racing games, but like, what's Legends? I don't know. And yeah, I wish I was playing Destiny 2 because it's cool that they got a whole new thing coming out. But I'm not playing Destiny 2 currently, so that is not for me. But I know somebody who does play, and they're very excited for it. So. That is very cool. All right, well, that's what I will for sure be picking up and playing in February. It's jam-packed. We're in it, guys. We're in the month. And March is still looking pretty gnarly too. So we're just in the beginning. So yeah, let us know in the comments. What do you guys think about the games coming out in February? What are the must-haves? What are the ones you're curious about? Is there anything that you are playing or plan on playing that we didn't really show a whole lot of hype for? Maybe you want to let us know. It's worth playing or looking into. And yeah, let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to February and its game releases. All right, let's jump into what we've been playing and talk about the games we've been playing. Chevy, you want to start us out?
Sure. I played, I don't remember the exact title, but the UFC game that's available on PlayStation Plus, and I can't talk about it. So, I played, I've forgotten the other two PlayStation Plus games now.
Just a reminder for everybody, on PlayStation Plus in February, you can download and play UFC 4, Planet Coaster, Console Edition, and Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. And make sure after playing all three of those games, to come back at the end of the month for Plus Club, where we will be discussing, reviewing all three of those games, our experiences with them, and grading them. So yeah, come back for that.
Yeah, I played those three games.
Okay.
So I can't talk about
You played all three of them already?
Yeah.
Nice. I need to do that.
Yeah. And I definitely have opinions about all three of them. So
good to know. I haven't played any of them yet, and I'm sadly mostly excited to try out Planet Coaster to see what it's like on a controller.
Indeed. And
Elite Dangerous is our game of the month, randomly picked, and we're planning to do like
we have to
on a weekend,
plan, yeah.
like fucking like on a Saturday, planning on doing like a group play session to get the ins and outs of that. So we have not played that yet.
Should probably just knock it out after I raid. So speaking of raiding, playing Final Fantasy 14 like usual, doing the raiding thing, doing our re-clears of the first fight. Finally started progging the second fight. We made it about a third of the way through, which is about where I wanted us to make it. So that was pretty cool. Feels I say this every time, but it feels really good to get in there and just kind of like do the hard stuff again. So, especially because like, you know, as long as everyone's in a good mental place, it's just funny to see the stupid reasons people die and laugh about it and stuff. So, been having a lot of fun with that. We do have one guy who might be getting a new job, so his schedule might change, but we do have a backup. So
too much things are changing, dude.
Well, you know, adults.
Yeah,
gotta do adult things, and we first rule of our raid is real life comes first. So, yeah.
So wait, you're not gonna get mad at people if they can't make it?
No.
You fucking said you'd be there, and we need the tank.
I'll be bummed out. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah,
it's a video game. Let's see. I played a little bit before filming Guilty Gear Strive on PC. Plays really good on there. I'm very happy to say that. Has equally terrible initial loading time like the PlayStation version when it comes to connecting to their servers.
Oh, interesting.
So, but once the game's on, it runs really well. So, yeah, they released Biken recently, so I got to play with her a little bit.
I saw on Twitter they had a video revealing her that she was coming out soon, and the comments were wild.
Interesting.
A lot of close-up screenshots.
Oh, I mean, a typical Biken. No, the one thing I will comment on her is that she's been kind of a weird character in Guilty Gear's history where her moveset's really... I guess the running joke is she's the main that everyone doesn't play. So, so people are like, oh, I love Biken, but then they don't actually play her because she's always kind of wonky.
Yeah.
Strive in general has kind of simplified all characters. And so she got kind of completely reworked. And actually, I think she plays really well now. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. They kept a couple of her staple moves, but then they gave her kind of a weird gimmick now where like, do you remember in the old games where she throw out like a grappling hook and pull you in towards her?
Yeah.
So she does that still, but she has a medium range and a long range one now, and then it attaches a rope to you so they can't run away from you for a little bit. So you're stuck on top of each other for a little bit.
That's kind of crazy.
It's kind of weird.
I can't think of a fighting game that's done something like that.
Me either. It's pretty.
It's kind of cool because I don't want fighting games like there's a system to fighting games that fucking works, and like if you fuck with it too much, you start venturing into something that's not quite fighting games anymore.
Yeah.
Like those weird perspective Dragon Ball games for a while there, and Dragon Ball Z games, and I don't know, like some of the weird stuff that came out on Xbox back in the day.
Right.
But like sometimes you can tweak things and make it kind of feel new and fresh again. And that kind of reminds me of that character in Mortal Kombat. That was essentially two characters. Mm-hmm. And I've seen a couple of games try things like that as well. But like it's interesting to have those ideas and make them work, because that's the biggest balance of adding anything weird to a fighting game is if it throws off the balance of if this feels fair or not, it is a mistake, because people will fucking be really upset that you fucked with that balance. But if you can nail it, then it's like, whoa, you did something different and new. So it's really weird how like you can't fuck with fighting games too much, but like that doesn't sound too crazy. That just sounds like, oh shit, I'm in a situation that, isn't great for me if you're the one who got grabbed.
Yeah. Well, and to my understanding, in Xrd, the game had gotten really bonkers. Like the combos, the move list got really big, really crazy, and stuff like that. And in this one, they kind of scaled everything back, re-simplified everything, made it a little more like newbie friendly. Almost feels like a soft reboot in a way, even though this, the story goes on or whatever. And I do think it has sold better than any other Guilty Gear at this point. So
that's cool. I think they did. They needed to simplify it. Not like simplify it for like to make it easy for everybody, but like there is a part or a point in every fighting game's legacy where you have to do a reset, because you've made so many characters and you're like, how do we one up the last game we did in the last game? And you start kind of losing the core of what that fighting game was. I think Street Fighter went through that. I think Tekken's been pretty solid for a long time. Mortal Kombat 100% did. 100%. Soul Calibur did. The latest Soul Calibur is good, but the one before that was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, fighting games always evolve to a point where you're like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this now? How did we get here? And so it sounds like that's what happened with them. It sounds like you gotta, I mean, even with Mortal Kombat, when they reset and made everything great again, they kind of went back to the basics of like the same story that they've told, but tweaked it. I mean, it's a big experience of all the stuff they added, but they kind of brought us back home with it.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and I think for the season pass, season one or whatever for the game, They have one more character release, and I think they're adding another story update, so there'll be more story to the game as well. So that'll be interesting. I know,
Like more anime to watch.
Probably. I didn't realize that they animated everything in game at an almost 1-to-1 scale. So that's a lot of work with 3D models because there's no like frame skipping really. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, their whole approach to doing the 3D, 2D thing is really kind of crazy.
Yeah, because they did it in the last game, but it wasn't as smooth as this one. Like they really kind of went all out this time, and I think that's why there's no finishers in the game, because I think the animation would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm having fun with it. I picked it up on PC just because I know 2 people playing it on PC right now, and they're both like in a casual mindset when it comes to it, which is the only way I'd play versus people. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious to get in there and just kind of fuck around in there. So.
Yeah. You guys doing like, well, of course, because they're not in the same room. I was going to say, is there like lobbies or people could sit and spectate?
So, yeah. So, with the way Guilty Gear's online system works is you have a house and you can decorate it and stuff, but then people hang out in that house with little avatars, and you can go up these podiums and you can verse each other, and someone can walk up and hit spectate too. So,
That's pretty cool.
so you can have multiple fights going and someone can just go spectate all
Maybe
of
I
them
should pick up for PC.
Yeah, it's still full price on there, but
I don't mind supporting them though.
yeah.
That's another one that people want Sony to buy.
Arc.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Well,
pretty niche one.
Here's the thing that's really interesting, though. I just thought of this today because everybody keeps bringing up Capcom. Not to keep talking about acquisitions. It's probably getting boring at this point, but it won't be when it happens. Capcom. I'm not excited about that idea, but like Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, under Sony would be wild. But here's the thing, though. I'm not excited about Street Fighter because I'm not a Street Fighter guy. I respect it, but I'm not into it. Street Fighter being owned by Sony would be wild because they bought Evo.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking like Arc System Works, whatever the fuck they're called. They're only fighting games, and Sony owns Evo.
And they have 2 giant fighting games.
Yeah.
And
So,
maybe a
and
third
that's
around the
something,
corner.
there's this rumor that came out recently. Everybody's talking out their ass, but this analyst was saying that Sony has $10 billion left for acquisitions currently. And people are like, well, also that much? I'm like, no, that's plenty. You can buy multiple devs for $10 billion.
Well, everyone's just still got a hard on for the
68.7.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they bought a lot of devs with 68.7. But if you buy a single dev, especially somebody who's not EA or Ubisoft, most of them are under 12 billion.
Yeah.
Most of them are like 1, 2, 3 billion. And people who aren't like big are less than $1 billion. So,
Well, yeah, and they overpaid for Bungie, but they explained
the
why.
retention program,
because
yeah.
there was a retention
Yeah.
amount in there.
yeah, because everybody's like, they overpaid. I'm like, yeah, but they're investing in them. They want them to be around for the long term. They like what they see with Bungie as of right now, and they want to maintain that for like 10 years, which makes sense. So yeah, it's just been funny to watch like the guessing game of what's going to be next. But in terms of fighting games, talking about Strive and other things, it kind of makes sense. I just don't think it'll have as much of an impact, but it will make them more well-rounded, which I think is what Sony's doing.
Yeah.
Because I think they're trying to cover all their angles. And we talked about this before, so we don't have to go too far into it. But, that is kind of a high-low impact purchase if they bought someone like, the people who make Guilty Gear.
And Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah, because these, amongst fighting game fans, are known now. They're not like niche games.
And Blast Blue's pretty big too.
And they've been making games for other people lately. So they obviously are open to work on new properties with their expertise. I mean, if I was going to buy a fighting game company, I'd buy them.
I mean, I would too, but I'm biased to Guilty Gear.
Well, I just think they're expansive. You could buy like Bandai Namco, but you're buying anime and you're buying Tekken and Soul Calibur, which are my favorite fighting games, but they only make those 2. Mm-hmm. Whereas like you buy these dudes, they can fucking pump you out a fucking fighting game easily. Whatever the hell you want. They're like, okay. and they'll do it. So I mean, like that kind of talent, you could get them for fucking cheap. Make some kind of Sony licensed fighting game too. Like, anyway.
Yeah. Capcom's a big I hope not, because Monster Hunter just got mainstream popular. Let's not mess with that.
Well, it'd be mainstream Sony popular at that point.
I don't think it's good for the game. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of these giant acquisitions are good for really anything.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, Capcom, yeah, I'm not. That's not one. Like, if they did it, it would make sense, and I'd be like, holy shit, they just bought a lot of properties. If you bought Capcom, you're buying a lot of history. There's a lot of games they don't make anymore that they own. So you have access to a shitload of properties. Capcom would be a smart purchase. But Capcom's a company I think should just be thriving on its own. I really would hate to see Capcom owned by anybody.
Same.
It's just too much of a, I mean, that's like a Japanese, like, giant company.
It's a staple company.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah. They own too many giant games that I'm like, those are all fucking Xbox now, or that's all Sony now, that's all Nintendo. That's kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, me neither.
But
it'd be smart.
Get off acquisitions.
Yeah. It's the talk of the town, dude.
Yeah, I'm tired of it.
It's good. We're gonna hear more about it this year.
No, I know, but I'll deal with it then. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only other thing I've been playing though is I turned Minecraft back on finally. I pay for a server and I just kind of like ignored it for a couple months there. So hopped in, finished a project I was working on. Friend of the channel, Rob, hopped on and checked out some of the new features, and we just kind of hung out and bullshit inside the game. So
did he dig a giant hole?
He continued it since they lowered the floor limit in Minecraft, and he was like, oh good, I get to go deeper now.
I've played Minecraft with Rob a couple times, and every time he just digs a hole, like a giant hole.
Yeah, he said he finds it therapeutic.
I believe it,
Yeah.
but he does it every time.
Yeah,
like that's what he does.
Yeah, this is the biggest one he's ever done. So it's
Rob's biggest hole ever, dude.
Yeah, it's an eyesore on the map for sure.
Oh yeah,
but fortunately,
it shows up.
Fortunately, it's not close to my face. So
yeah, he makes them big, dude.
Yeah,
those are some big holes he makes.
A lot of resources, I'm sure, though.
Yeah, that's the best thing about building tunnels and digging holes in Minecraft is you're doing a Zen thing and you're feeling accomplished because you get to look back and go, whoa, look what I did. That's a lot of fucking progress. But you're also just kind of inadvertently getting resources, which is positive. Especially if you're someone like me and you dig a fucking hole or a tunnel and you hate the eyesore of an imperfect one fucking material tunnel. So you have to go through and dig out the walls and replace it with the same material so it all looks the same. Then you really get those resources.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun. It's all going to be difficult for me to juggle my time now with a second MMO now coming, and then the must plays that are coming up too. So
just get a Steam Deck. It's coming out. And so and a $600 PC, that's fucking great.
I have a PC.
True. I have a couple PCs, but I'm gonna buy a Steam Deck, and it's gonna be way too much money, but also not that much for a PC.
No, it's a good price.
At the highest one's like $650. I'm like, for a fucking PC that can play Control, like,
yeah,
Jesus, it's crazy. I've been watching reviews on that thing, and I'm just like, fuck, it's nice. Apparently, it's something I didn't expect. People are like, the speakers are really good, and I'm like, are they?
I mean, that's good.
Apparently, the
Switch are good though.
Apparently, the Index and Steam Deck both have really good audio, and like Linus from Linus Tech Tips was like, when are you guys gonna make a headset? Because like their audio is like good. Apparently,
I'm in the market for one, kind of. So mine's breaking.
My Astros sound good, but the amount of fucking problems I have with the dock, every time I pull them off, I'm like, are they gonna work? Do I have to factory reset them every time? It's really annoying.
I'm legitimately thinking about going like to the old school style ones, because my audio interface just has the plug-in for them.
Mm-hmm. You mean like just headphones?
Yeah.
I mean, I have fucking some Sennheisers down here I typically use. But those have like the 3D 7.1 where the fuck sound, which is cool, but like it's not worth. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about before?
Valve.
Oh yeah. No. Before that, so I was saying pick up a Steam Deck because I'm gonna do that, and you can play Final Fantasy 14 on your computer, and you can play Lost Ark on your Steam Deck.
I can't play 2 games at once like that.
This one time, no joke, I was so fucking tight on time that I played Final Fantasy 14 and 15 at the same time.
That one makes a little more sense.
Yeah. Because I was running around just talking to people and questing in 14, like just running back and forth. And I was mostly playing 15.
Yeah, so I think
that's the first and last time I did that.
Yeah, that's still a lot of multitasking. That's not good for you.
I was like, I will never do this again. But I was like, can it be done? It can be, but not in a good way.
Unfortunately, the most I've done really is play like a shitty little mobile game, play Final Fantasy 14, and then like play like my Switch a little bit too on a turn-based game there.
I've played games that were multiplayer, and there'd be times where people are doing something that takes them like 20 minutes with their gear or something, and I would like fucking play like a tower defense on my phone while that was happening. But
yeah, lately, especially when we're setting up for raid, I usually don't have much setup to do, so I just get in the party, grab my Switch, and I just wait.
Yeah, so makes sense. Yeah. Also during that time I was playing Final Fantasy 14 and 15 at the same time. I played Dragon Quest as well. I was grinding, so I would just with one hand, like
the game has auto combat too, so it's really easy.
Yeah. So I would just run into characters and then kill shit.
Yeah, it makes sense
to grind out, because I was like, I want to be more powerful.
I need to visit the post game in that, because after beating it, I wasn't done with it.
I would love to come back to that game, but I can't. So maybe someday.
You can. You're choosing not to.
Too many games. Too many games. Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, my list is short. I have been playing Dying Light 2. That means I haven't played UFC 4 yet. I haven't played Planet Coaster Console Edition yet. And I haven't played Tiny Tina's DLC for Borderlands 2 yet. Or Elite Dangerous. So I plan on playing those this month at some point, and the month we're going through it, so I'm losing time. I need to sit down and play those. But I have been playing Dying Light 2 since it has come out. I have about 40 hours into it, so I'm not super far into it, but I would have finished some games by now with that amount of time. And it's been really interesting because it's literally what I wanted in the best way possible. I liked Dying Light. I think the gameplay was awesome. I love that it's got loot. I love that it's multiplayer. I love that it has smart design when it comes to night and day cycles, when it comes to the challenge of survival, but also having a fun combat system. And everybody talks about this, the story not being great. I agree, but I think that about most games in general. Almost every game I play, especially Ubisoft games, I'm just like, skip. I don't give a fuck. The story's dumb. This is not even interesting. I thought Dying Light had a pretty cool story. I didn't think it was like amazing, but like it's an interesting story. It's not just like there's a virus and you got to survive it. How'd it get here? It's like there's more to it. It's actually kind of thoughtful. So with all that said, I was hoping Dying Light 2 would just be a better version of Dying Light. That's it, and that's what it is. It's literally just a bigger, more robust Dying Light, with more going on, better graphics, better systems. It's less janky than Dying Light. Speaking of jank, I was talking to somebody today, and they're talking about Dying Light, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, it's cool. It's kind of like a better version of Dead Island. Like they're kind of similar." I'm like, "Same people," and they're like, "What? Wait, we're like, they are?" I was like, "Yeah, Techland made fucking Dead Island, and then they made Dying Light, which is the better version of Dead Island."
I hate Dead Island.
Yeah, I liked it, but that game was fucking. Some people were talking about how Dying Light 2 is buggy. I'm really not seeing it a whole lot. That day one patch, I think, fixed a lot of the stuff the reviewers said, but even people after have been talking about a lot of bugs. We'll get into that. But you want to talk about bugs in a Techland game, dude? Fucking Dead Island was fucking riddled with really janky shit, and I still enjoyed playing that game because it's just like, where do you get the opportunity to like aim for a hand and break it with a fucking blunt object, or hit someone in the head and crack them and damage there's like individual damage for limbs. It's such a cool idea. It just was really floaty and did not work the best, and movement in that game is horrendous. But it's a cool idea, and it's multiplayer. I mean, these guys, all I can tell from Techland at this point is these dudes want to make fucking fun ass games. They want you to be able to play with your friends or play by yourself and just have a blast. And that's what they've done with all their games. And Dying Light 2 is the exact same experience. Speaking about the bug issue thing, I've ran into like almost nothing. It's got a little bit of jank, but nothing. Like one time I had to repeat a mission ending. I was like halfway through a mission, I finished it, and then I stopped playing the game at some point. And then I came back, and the mission was back up. I ran over to it, and it was just like the ending cutscene of that mission. I was like, okay. I talked to the guy again, and then it just ended, and I got the reward. So I was like, either I got the reward twice, or it had a weird bug where I got the reward, but it's gone now. And there's some bugs I don't want them to get rid of because they're fucking fun as shit. Like you can jump off of a skyscraper. There's a move in the game where if you're above an enemy as you're falling at them and you hold E, I'm playing on PC, you'll drop down and kick them in the head.
Okay.
If you jump off of a skyscraper and you're falling at somebody and you hold E, you'll kick them in the head and you'll land. Yeah. Don't fix that. I fucking love that. That kind of shit is something I miss in games. Just that like, oh shit, you can actually do that. Like it's fun to kind of find that stuff out. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. I'm really enjoying it. I'll get into the details in a sec. It's been really cool to see the reception too, because each one of their games have gotten pretty positive reception, but like it's overwhelmingly positive on like Twitter and other places online. People I'm talking to, everybody's having a blast with it.
I've seen a couple streamers play it too.
Yeah,
they're having fun with it. So.
Yeah, everyone's fucking really digging it, and it's really cool to see because it is just a solid, fun game that offers a lot. It is. What was I saying? It's a better Far Cry than Far Cry 6. I mean, by fucking miles. And then GameSpot gave it a fucking 6 out of 10.
No one cares about them.
Sure. Yeah, but like it was so funny because I saw that and I'm like, there's no fucking way this is a 6 out of 10. Like it's too fun. Like what's the issue? But then I looked in the comments and everybody's on the same page. They're like, what the fuck? Are you angry at Techland? Why would you give this a 6 out of 10? Like, no one gets it. And then people are like, you gave Deathloop a fucking 10. And some other game they said too. They're like, you gave Deathloop a 10 and some other game a 7 or some shit. I'm like, dude, this game is better than both those games combined. Like, Dying Light 2 is a much better game than fucking Deathloop. And I know some people who like Deathloop are probably like, you're fucking crazy. It's preference. I just think it's a funner game all around. Deathloop is a tighter, better made game, but Dying Light 2 is just like, it's just a blast to play. So anyway, I've been playing for 40 hours. I won't go into any story, spoiler stuff or reveal things that possibly you'll unlock later. That's not in the, if it's in the trailer, I might talk about it. But just in case you're curious, I would assume I'm halfway through the game. Maybe. Considering there is a section of the game and there's another section I've just entered. So that's where I'm at. And the story in between those points seems to be fairly relevant as like a main point of the story. So that's where I'm at. I have 4 points in my combat tree, I believe, which affects fighting or whatever. And then 12 or 13 in stamina, which is your more parkour side. So I have a shitload of stamina right now because it's a parkour game. I like parkour. So
you also tend to be mobility focused.
100%. So I was like, I need to be able to fucking move. And stamina comes into combat as well because you're on stamina when you swing. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I don't want to run out. I'd like rather not get hit than get hit and be able to survive it. So it's been working out really well. I almost have all my parkour abilities unlocked. So I've been really grinding in the game and doing all the side quests when they're like, it's going to take you 500 hours to do everything. I'm like, fuck, I think I just locked myself into that. Because I was like, I'll do like the story and a couple side quests, but I'm like, nah, I'm already 40 hours. And I'm like halfway through the game and I'm really going, I'm like finding all the inhibitor things, finding, there's these inhibitors that you find. You'll be running by a building and you'll get a little indicator and it goes, and it's like inhibitor nearby. And like it like has like a range, and as you get closer, it gets smaller and how far it is, but it doesn't tell you where it is. Sometimes it's like in some kind of secret location. Sometimes it's in a building. Sometimes it's in like a giant building that's like a process to go through because it's like dark in there. And they have this new system where if you're out in the dark, your infection gets worse. And so if it runs out, I've never ran out, so I don't know what happens, but I assume something bad happens. Kind of like exposure in Icarus. But it makes it stressful if you're in like a big ass building and you're going through it and you're just like stealthing around and shit. There are items to refill it. There's like an inhaler and mushrooms you can eat, but it's a cool new element. But anyway, I've been running around trying to find all the inhibitors I can find, because when you use or when you get 3 of those, sometimes one will have 1 inhibitor, 2 inhibitors, 3 inhibitors. Some buildings will have 4 in them. Sometimes every 3 inhibitors, you get to put it into your combat or your stamina, and that will increase your overall health or your overall stamina. And then when you get to certain levels in those, combat and stamina, it unlocks more and more of your combat tree or your parkour tree. And then those are separate. Those are leveled based off experience. So as I do more parkour stuff, I get a parkour experience. And if I fight more, I get combat experience. So just to kind of catch you up and anybody else who might not know what's going on there. So far, I think the story is interesting, especially after playing the first game. You don't need to have played, so far as I've experienced, the first game to understand this story. It does distance itself a bit. It is connected to it, and they do make reference to a character, the main character of the first game.
Okay.
But this, I think, is 20 years after the first game, so it's significantly different. It has its own story going on with a new character, new characters in general, and I am interested in what's happening with it. It's funny, a couple of reviews came out for this game that said that choices in the game don't matter. And I think it's really interesting because it's not Skyrim. It's not an open world game. It's not Cyberpunk where you're going around fucking having your own adventure. But I've played through my story, and then I was playing with Sarah on her game. And not only were there major differences in our stories, but a guy I really don't like in my save, we murdered in hers. And I haven't had that option in mine. He's like really fucking annoying.
Are you trying to say that people who reviewed the game don't know what they're talking about?
Yes. Yes. I mean, I feel like it has to be a factual statement. That's not even my opinion, because like I'm playing it, I'm like, even if there's a 50% chance, depending on my decisions, that this can happen, and the other 50% of the decisions you make have the second thing happen, there's 2 choices.
They're probably going to simplify that down to like you're going to get the same ending. So that's why your choices don't matter.
Possibly, even though the first game had 3 endings.
I'm just assuming. I don't know shit about this game.
I think they pretend to know. I think they played through it once, and I think they were upset that as you capture areas, kind of like Far Cry, you take over certain facilities, and when you take over the facility, there's 2 factions, and you can decide who gets that facility.
Okay. And
one faction leans into parkour stuff in the city, and the other one leans into traps for the city. And so if you start helping out the Bazaar, which is one of the groups, they start putting zip lines around the city in those districts. They start putting around like trampoline type things that will launch you into the air, all these things that help you get around easier. And then the other guys will start setting up like car bombs, spike traps, all these things around the city. And so you get some customization there on how your districts are. But I think they're complaining that those decisions don't affect the faction's dynamics. It's just a gameplay thing, which I think is really fucking neat. Because when I was playing with Sarah, she was like picking more of like the trap stuff around the city, and I was picking more of the parkour stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's really neat that over time the city changes, right? Which is fucking neat. Like literally, like every time you capture a windmill, it creates a small little town there that wasn't there before. And then in the main town that I go to, the Bazaar, when it first started, they were like working on crops and there's nothing there. And now in my game, it's like flourishing. There's crops everywhere. So there's a lot of really cool, like, I don't want to say it's dynamic. It's all just going to happen eventually anyway, but it's really cool to see that evolution. But anyway, I think that's what their major point was against the idea of any kind of choice, was that. But I have a hard time when I was reading that and now played it going like, there was a whole segment with characters that I know from my playthrough where things were completely different, and like the outcomes in certain situations were completely different, and the bosses that never existed on mine were now bosses. And then, like I said, a character I really don't fucking like in my playthrough, on her playthrough, I got to grab him, throw his head into a fucking wall, hit him in the back of the head with a mace, and when he fell on the ground, I fucking jumped on his head and smashed it. And he's dead now. And I was like...
Graphic.
That's what happened. That's that game. I was like, holy shit, dude. This is a gift. Thank you. Because I fucking... No, this guy sucks. This guy fucking sucks. For anybody who might be wondering who I'm saying, you already know, but Barney. Fuck that guy. His name's Barney. He looks like goddamn Eddie Munster. Only like 20 something. He's a dickhead. Anyway, so there's absolutely. I was actually very impressed with how different some of the key stuff is the same, but it's also really interesting to see how this completely different story that we were going through on hers wrapped into a key point that I also wrapped into in a way that seems seamless. It's done really well. Because both of our stories were very different at one point, but they all go to a central point differently, but to the exact same thing. And it was really, really cool to see. So, yeah. Let's see. The city size is really good. Just like Dying Light. This one's apparently 4 times the size as Dying Light, but Dying Light had a really good size. It wasn't too big, so it didn't feel like a lot of vacant, boring running around like, what's even to do over here? But it, wasn't too small either. Really good. A lot of interiors, a lot of verticality. This game's the exact same. I would say more. I think the inhibitors, some of them are pretty challenging. There was a building that we could see through a hole in the wall where the inhibitor was, but we couldn't figure out how to get into the fucking room. And eventually, like I'm in it's pitch black in this room. I can see in the room where there's light, but in the room I'm in, no light. I have a flashlight. I'm looking around. Finally, in the top left fucking corner, there's a vent. I was like, oh, okay. I crawled into that and eventually was able to get into the rest of the building. But so they had a lot of fun with every inhibitor being a different challenge on top of windmills, which unlike Far Cry, not unlike, similar to Far Cry, you have to like climb up to the top, and some of them had like different challenges. In this, it's all parkour based, so like a lot of the windmills have like these concrete weights that are moving up and down, and you have to time them and jump and climb certain things, get really creative with how you get up it. And
so like all the temples or whatever in Ghost Tsushima, so usually like obstacle courses to get to the
pretty much like that. Yeah. It's it's similar. Pretty much the Far Cry formula, but just doing more with it because they're not Ubisoft and just doing the same shit over and over again.
But it's easier
because Ghost of Tsushima was also a better Far Cry. So everything's a better Far Cry lately, which is so disappointing. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Killing zombies, super gratifying. The physics are crazy. A lot of times when you do a certain thing in combat, like if you crit or fucking hit them and they light on fire or whatever, the game will go in slow-mo. It even does that in the multiplayer, and it's super satisfying to hit a dude in the head and get that and like it goes in slow-mo for a second and they lift off the ground, start spinning horizontally in the air, and then it goes back into normal and they're just like flipping and they fly into shit while on fire. Like it's just like the combat feels really fucking good. And yeah, the first area is like really European looking. It's really cool looking. And the second area is like a giant city that I've barely explored. I saw that and I was like, oh shit, it's all skyscrapers. This is going to get crazy. And then it's been shown in the trailer, so of course you guys know there's a paraglider. I got that, and it's a cool addition because in the first game they had a grappling hook that you got at the end, which is good, but it kind of took away from the parkour because you're like, oh, I can just shoot this and get anywhere I need to. By the end, and I refuse to use it because I like the parkour in it.
Right.
And this game has even better parkour, but this has a paraglider that you slowly just go down. I have mine upgraded, so every once in a while I can hit shift and get a boost to get me back in the air a little bit, but it takes stamina, so you can't just fly forever. But there are vents around the city that have wind coming out of them, and if you fly over one, your stamina refills. So there's almost like a mini game to it.
Gotcha.
But it feels like a good addition because I feel like I am doing parkour and paragliding back and forth. So they kind of complement each other. So I think it's a much better system, though I don't know for sure. I do feel like the grappling hook's probably going to be in this game as well. It'd be really weird if they didn't have it again. But I don't know.
Especially if they're boasting 500 hours, they probably want ways to make that feel faster.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some Easter eggs that were ruined for me on Twitter of different means of transportation in the game that look very cool, that I was like, you didn't even have to have that in the game. But they're there, apparently. One's in a trunk. I need to find that. Another one, the guy just was found on the street somewhere. I was like, okay. So a lot of really cool things they put in this game. And then lastly, the multiplayer is a lot of fun. It's 4-player, which is awesome. I've only played it with one other person, and that's a blast. This game is, I wouldn't say it's mindless, but it's like just like, it can be stressful, but a lot of times it's just fun. So there's no like hard co-op that needs to happen in it. You're just kind of playing together and making sure you don't get killed while fighting certain things. And it's a lot of fun to just run around and complete the missions together. Not a whole lot of problems, but every once in a while there has been more issues that I would assume has to do with the connection or latency than when I played by myself, specifically when I was in the bazaar and there was just like a floating cup in the air, like somebody was holding it, but they weren't there. That never happened to me when I played single player. And then another character was sitting there and there was like binoculars or something flying next to him. I was seeing a lot of weird little artifacts like that, but it was only when I played multiplayer. So
interesting.
Yeah. But no disconnections, no weird stuff. So it's been working just fine. I heard this game was like super buggy, and I'm like,
I heard that was mostly the console version. I thought.
Well, that might be it. Let me know in the comments if you're playing this on console. That would be a shame. That'd be 2 games now that I could think of that the console people got shafted quite a bit. But it's happened opposite before too, where PC players get fucked. So not that anyone deserves it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been nice for me in my own personal experience to have heard that it's a super buggy game, and really it's their cleanest game, more straightforward game that they've ever made. And it's been working just fine. I've just been having a blast with it. It's been really cool because like I feel like 2021 I got really hyped for certain things, and then they didn't meet expectation. And then I got hyped in this year already. It's starting out good. Dying Light 2's, as of right now, my favorite game of 2022. It might make my fucking top 5 easily this year. I mean, it's a lot of fucking fun. So yeah, that's enough about Dying Light 2 though. I could talk about it for a long time, but as you can tell, I am enjoying it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's not an amazing game. It's not groundbreaking. It's not a masterpiece. It's not a story that I'm gonna go, oh my god, maybe it is. Maybe I'll beat it and really like it. But oh, one last thing. She's in the promotional stuff, but the game has a very wide array of acting talent. The guy who plays the main character, I think, does a great job. I mean, he's competent. I feel like that there's a game recently where I looked up the voice actor and I could have swore it was this dude, but I don't remember. This guy's done a lot of stuff, so he's really good. But there's like a lot of people who are like pretty bad as well. But you know the actor Rosario Dawson? No? Okay. Well, she's been around for a little bit, but she actually plays a character in well, I don't want to spoil anything. Anyway, she's in this, I'll put it that way. And since she has like an actual acting background, she seems like almost amazing. Like her character's fine, but like her acting compared to some of the actors in this game, I was like, yeah, you can tell she actually like does like real acting, because she's like her character's completely believable.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's just like day and night, because some of the people, they like talk and you're like, ooh, okay. I don't, was this guy asleep when he did this? Like it's wild. So it's kind of crazy, but she does a really good job, which is really cool to see. So nice. I don't even have like an affinity really for her in movies or anything like that, but I saw her, I'm like, I know who that is, and she started talking. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, she's bringing her. She's not pulling the Peter Dinklage and not bringing her A game thing. Like she's like going all out on it. It's really cool to see.
Not just on speakerphone while drinking.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because sometimes celebrities get in games and you're like, oh, I recognize that person, but they're not doing much. She's like completely into the character, so it's really cool to see. Good. Yeah. Also, last shout out, David Bell, creator of Parkour, is in the game. I didn't even hear about that. I was just playing the game. I looked at him, I'm like, is that fucking David Bell? And I like looked it up, and it's like he did the performance. I'm like, fuck yes. I'm so happy David Bell's in this shit because he deserves to be in a fucking parkour game. He invented this shit. All right, that's it. Dying Light 2 is fun, and we'll move on to the next thing. But let me know in the comments, what are you guys thinking of Dying Light 2? Are you guys playing it right now? Are you planning on playing it? What games have you been playing lately? Anything you would recommend? What do you think about Sifu? I've already gotten like 3 recommendations from people I know telling me to play it on top of all the things I'm hearing about. So it does seem like it's a must-play game of February. I got to find time for it, and yeah. Anything you're stoked about playing? What are you most hyped for? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. Where's my mouse at? Okay. Yeah, problems with wireless mouse. Like, it's like, wait a second, I gotta wake up. All right, so we got something to watch. It's a little bit long of a sit, but it seems topical and timely. This is Lost Ark Director's trailer. I believe this came out yesterday, and I believe this is going over Lost Ark and what it offers.
Yes.
What's going on in it?
So it is. They'll say it in the beginning too, but it's translated from the Korean director of the game.
Okay.
And he goes over what we're going to receive here in the West on the launch of the game. So,
because I don't even know that. I like played the beta. I'm like, it's fun. I'll play it, and then I left. That's all I know.
Also, I know this game has a kind of hit or miss, I guess hype meter going for it. So I guess to throw this out, there's just a bit of information. MMOs generally don't have traction right now, and this game is, I think, 7 years old in Korea and has only gone up in every region it is released in. So that is promising.
Well, releasing a 7-year-old MMO either means that it's doing well still and they want to get a piece of the action over here, or they're desperate and they're trying to just see if they can make some money.
Yeah, the game's still growing in Korea and in Russia right now.
It's good to hear. And it's a game we've been waiting for a long time.
I'm always looking for MMOs to play anyway, so I'm a big fan of the genre. So
yeah, and we did play it, and we both enjoyed it.
I
was actually surprised on how much of an MMO it actually is. It's not Diablo. The combat looks like Diablo.
It's super. And it's funny. I've watched a couple people say this now in videos about this game. They're like, I know it looks like Diablo.
Yeah,
it is an MMO. Yeah. This video is going to show some boss fights. This is an MMO.
Yeah. Well, I found out as soon as I started playing it.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't Diablo. Okay. Yeah. It's just top down. It's a top down MMO. And it's flashy like a game like Diablo would be, but so are MMOs.
Yeah. And without spoiling this video, because I've watched this already.
You've watched it. I haven't.
This is a theme park MMO, and they are embracing the shit out of that. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, I hope there's a lot of longevity to this game. I hope I play it and I'm like, because, a game like Diablo or whatever, even though it's not, you're going to play it, you're going to beat it. You might move on to the game. You might sit for the grind and really get that gear in a Diablo game. But like, this is an MMO. This is a new MMO for us. And so there is a potential of this becoming, like a main or a B MMO where you're going to be returning for years, possibly, hopefully. And so there's an element of excitement for that for me because we don't get the chance to try out a new MMO very often anymore. And so I'm interested in seeing what they say in this video because like I honestly have stayed away from a lot of the, hype building before the release of this game because like I'm like, I'm gonna play it anyway. So I'm genuinely interested in what they have to say.
Yeah, I was in the same boat until I watched this. So I will reserve any thoughts now though until we're done. So
all right, well, game's coming out very soon or is out of right now.
If you
I can't wait to hop in. Maybe I'll do that after I film. And yeah, well, let's watch this and we'll talk about things. It's 20 minutes. Let me pull it back to the very beginning and let's do this. This is Lost Ark Director's trailer in 3, 2, 1, and go. That's weird to see.
Hello, adventurers. My name is Kum Kan Son. I'm the director of Lost Ark. Korean names are hard to pronounce, aren't they? so just call me Gold River. With the help of a wonderful voice actor who will continue for me in English and this trailer, I'll show you some cool ways to enjoy Lost Ark, which is launching very soon. Say hello to our adventurers. Hello. Nice to meet you, adventurers.
Hello, Bruce Lee.
Now,
Glad to see you're alive
let
and
us
well.
begin. First, let's take a look at the world of Lost Ark.
I did watch this on my phone, so this will still be a treat for me.
Yeah, for sure. There is a difference. Sometimes it's like desperately I'll watch something on my phone, and later I'm like, I gotta fucking give it some justice.
Oh, yeah.
From the age when our world, Arcasia, was created, to the time when the moon turned red and the demons of Petrania broke the mandates. Everyone craved the one and only light.
Can't say
of
that on
creation.
YouTube.
The Ark.
This looks like a Sega game. Is this Shining Force?
The hour of prophecy has come.
Do you know what
Order
Clash I'm playing?
and chaos have begun to
I played like
encroach
5 I liked. I'm
upon
like,
each
oh.
other.
Yeah, the ones I tried, Paladin was probably my
In
favorite.
places of history,
I wanna play one of the Gunner classes.
established under the glorious sun, and in places
Do we
that
know
were
anybody who's
kept
gonna be playing this
under
too?
the
I know
silent
one person for sure.
darkness. A new dawn
Maybe
is
one
coming.
or two that I think of right now.
The
on top of
stars align to guide you
Well, if we start playing
to
this
find the
a lot,
Ark,
I'm sure in the Discord we will have a Lost Ark
the
section.
light
So if you'd like to play
which
with
never
us,
goes out.
as long as you're cool, right? Feel free to join the Discord link down below.
Yeah. It's also a free-to-play game, in case you're out
That's
of
the
loop.
biggest thing I'm worried about. I hope they do it.
I think Western culture in general.
In this world called Arcasia,
I know
you will face many enemies,
Korean director
including
is
the
also aware of
powerful
that.
demon
They're
legions
the ones
of
changing the shop
Kazaros.
for us, so,
This looks like Ion.
I mean, it's Korean.
But there's
Yeah.
no need to worry. I will introduce you to the cool
Guild
heroes that
Wars.
will fight against them.
But that's kind of, well, that's NC soft.
Classes in Lost Ark have their own unique characteristics and combat mechanics.
True.
You can progress with unique skills and your own style.
Dang.
There is a class that changes combat stances to deal with various
I
combat
played that game.
situations. Some classes can burst their specialty to transform and
didn't like
become
him.
more powerful.
It might end up being too.
There is a class that goes berserk.
Found this opportunity of class that I liked initially, but after
There is a class that uses huge mechanical launchers and other hardened weapons to crush
I
enemies.
started liking the classes better.
The artillerist
Not
is
only
cool.
are there
a little
classes
slow,
that deal
but
damage,
I like the
There
imagination.
are also classes that support and heal their allies.
Yeah.
We didn't get very far though. It's hard to say. You didn't have your whole kit.
Yeah, 100%. Although I felt like I had like 30 moves already.
There's a sense of safety with a class on the front line protecting allies.
I hope like rolls can be. I hope it's like heavy on the tanking and healing thing.
There's no Trinity.
There's no Trinity.
No Trinity.
You can
So
effectively
it's
evolve
just
the unique
fucking
skills of
kill
each
shot.
class in various ways
Well,
to
hopefully
fit
it can-
different combat
I just hope
situations
more so
using the
because I'm
tripod
not
skill tree
married to the
system.
Trinity, but I do after seeing people try to get away from it.
Styles
realize
of skills can be
it's
changed
works
based
for
on
a
the
reason,
situation,
but,
and even the
I
controls
hope there's
can be
synergy of
changed.
some kind.
Yeah,
I hate
for
I hate
You can find the
multiplayer
most
games
optimal
that you're
combinations
just
of
playing
skills
together.
by
Some games is fine,
customizing.
but like games like this, I want to like
Each
work
class
together.
has 2 awakening skills.
It's a better meteor effect than
The
Tantina's
ultimate
Wonderland.
skills. With these awakening skills, you can turn a battle's direction quickly.
It's the scale's so fucking crazy. Man.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, like everything about this game looks
Once you've
cool. I
chosen
played it
your
as fun,
class,
but I'm like,
it's
I
time to
don't
experience
wanna
their
run
progression
walls
through a set
'cause
of
the free-play
challenges.
nature.
In the Chaos Dungeon,
only thing I
which
can
is
keep
one of the
saying is
fundamentals
game
of this
has
game,
continued growth.
you will battle waves of
Yeah.
monsters
Yeah, I
to
hope-
help
I
you
hope
create your
it's good.
own fighting style. Feel free to brag about your magnificent skills against hordes of enemies.
I will. I'm gonna brag.
Once you've familiarized yourself with
Oh
battles,
yeah.
try raids where you'll face
There's
off
so much
against lethal
animation.
guardians.
going
Yeah.
on. It's so
Their
cool.
variety is an
Yeah, this game's in
imposing
no way
threat.
lazy
Yeah,
on the
like
way they
You will
develop.
be able to
mechanics
greatly
are
enhance your combat
Mhm.
skills by facing these mighty guardians. Now that you've experienced battling powerful guardians, it's time for Abyssal Dungeons and Abyssal Raids, where
Yeah, hopefully we
working
get
with
dungeons
allies
together.
becomes more crucial.
Yeah, for sure.
I know you said you
Here,
had found out
enemies
how that
will
works
try to
after we
confuse and
played.
trick you with their gimmicks.
This is so cool.
Sometimes you'll need to rely on your skills, and sometimes you'll need to rely on your allies' support.
Hopefully.
Once you defeat them, you will be ready for the biggest battle in Lost Ark, the
cool,
Legion Raid.
Man, fuck
There,
the guy on the
You will
left.
face the 6 most powerful Legion leaders.
They're like the big raid bosses.
Valsen,
I'm gonna kill the shit out of
Vicus.
that guy. That's Barney for me.
Kakul Sadan,
His name's Kakul
Belshazzar,
Sadan.
Akan, and Theamine. Facing them will be very interesting, but also
Bye.
extremely challenging. If you're powerful
Very
enough,
interesting.
they await you in the Legion Raid.
Oh
There he is.
god, kill him, dude. I hate this dude.
God, the visuals are wild.
Yeah. Seems like there's a lot to do in the game.
Of course,
Barely start
there's
talking.
more to Lost Ark than vertical progression or simply leveling up. This enormous world has much to offer. Somewhere, there is a Chaos Gate that only opens once a day. There's a secret map that lets you explore hidden dungeons, and a ghost ship that appears in the sea. With skills like foraging, fishing, hunting, logging,
Sorry, bunnies.
archaeology,
Especially they hunted him with a fucking look like a throwing
Mining.
axe.
Yeah.
and crafting, you can live off the land and sell your crafted wares. You can also adorn your own land in Stronghold.
Your own properties.
Customize your Stronghold and invite friends.
That's pretty cool.
If you like PvP, make your way to the Proving
I
Grounds.
guess the PvP
You can
balance
hone your
for
combat
PvPs
skills
is not
there.
PvP's version. This guy's version.
Visiting certain regions and islands will enable you to enjoy various types of PvP battles. And once you start to get accustomed to these, you will find an opportunity for more challenging and massive battlegrounds. If the everyday routine isn't for you, try other activities, like a sailing co-op quest. Climb spires to face challenges in the tower. Explore random rooms and cubes. Fight powerful field bosses, and so on. A variety of
And
content
so on.
awaits. If you are ready, tackle these challenges one at a time.
3 at a time. This does have me a little more hyped than I was.
Even with so many diverse activities to choose from, my personal favorite is the Island Token.
Yeah, this is so interesting.
In Lost Ark, you can sail and travel to around 100 islands. These islands have their own content and events that are completely different from the main storyline. Become a trusted consultant to
And
the
there's
adorable Tukis.
100?
Yeah.
If you're brave enough, how about exploring a horror island?
Oh, I'm fucking brave enough.
Or if you're feeling sneaky, you might want to head to Twilight Isle. Sometimes you will encounter a weird place
What the
filled
fuck?
with oddities.
That's stressing me out.
You can explore a maze or join a snowball fight. Fight PvP battles in a field of reeds full of treasures. If you need money, you can deliver packages on the side. challenge others with your fishing skills,
I need money.
or turn into a chicken
Oh, yeah.
and rally other chickens.
Oh yeah.
The fact
These
that
are just some of the fun side quests that await
Yeah,
you
I
on
love
the
it. There's all
islands.
sorts of fucking random things
Once
you
you've
can do.
mastered them, you can acquire a valuable item called the Island Token. I hope you'll take the
Oh my
time to
God.
experience and enjoy these stories
Why?
in Lost Ark.
I'm so okay with
With
it.
so
I want
many
it. But fucking
collectibles,
why?
you can show off your collections
literally have
and
just
be
made
the
things
envy of your
to
allies.
do for fun.
That's what everyone should
Unravel
do.
the secrets in each continent and get your adventurer's tome to 100%. These pretty Makoko seeds are hidden on all the continents around the world. Keep an eye out.
Run outside the map to find them.
There's also a special adventure map that will lead you to secret spots in the sea to find more treasures. Have fun with these features and keep looking around to find the many hidden collectibles of Lost Ark.
I'm having fun.
Good luck!
You gave me too many choices.
Too many things. I don't like it.
The story of Lost Ark begins like most. You guessed it right. The objective is to find the Ark. It's a
I didn't
common
guess
theme
that.
for RPGs, exploring different continents and experiencing different episodes while searching for the Ark.
That place is cool.
But as your adventure continues, you will get to know the people of Arcasia and get involved in the massive lore,
But is it good lore?
eventually discovering your own
Look at that
destiny.
little buddy. Look at Sephiroth.
Begins as a small story, unfolds into a complex history. The battles become a war, and a huge story surrounding the secrets of Arcasia and the Ark will unfold before
Yeah.
you. Please,
This game's not short on
join us
content.
in this
It
journey
doesn't look
of
like
epic
every
stories.
scene something different. I'm like,
Then,
okay.
the secrets of Arcasia and the Ark will reveal
What
themselves
class
to
am I
you.
gonna play?
This is sure to be fascinating.
Yeah, dude.
Decision
I'm
right
like
there.
stressed about it.
Just play them all.
We can't talk about Lost Ark without
That's
our
one thing
music.
I forgot to mention. Dying Light
With
2's
so
soundtrack
many
is
different
really
continents, villains, and content
good. I was
in Lost
surprised.
Ark,
This music, I was like, this is good.
we needed music that represents each of them to bring these stories to life. Why don't we take a listen to some of them?
'Cause YouTube's gonna fucking strike
From
me down.
jazz,
Game music's usually fun.
Nintendo's involved. True.
heavy metal,
Oh yeah. This is my nightmare. This is if
EDM.
Amazon takes over. Those drones are delivering things. I'm trying to hang out there.
MIDI,
Look at this game
What the fuck is going on here? That
to
bird's
piano
real.
pieces,
Beautiful. How do you get out there?
Don't worry about it.
chamber music,
I love the polar bears
Just hanging out, yeah.
Like this is this is lit, fam.
musical
It's a
scores,
banger. Who are these people? Why are they shaped like this? What game
opera,
is this?
Right?
Like, is this just one game?
Yeah.
hymns,
People on TikTok are gonna sing this.
This is very like Lord of the Rings-esque here.
and even orchestral music.
I would hope so. That's the one I'm not surprised by.
Various music from diverse genres will match your adventure perfectly.
I just want the
and
him
be a
dudes with me at all
delight for
times.
your ears.
Come on, guys. Next zone.
Yeah, just follow me. Is this like social connection or internet?
Social.
That's quite a lot, isn't it? But this just scratches the surface. All the features I've mentioned are not enough to explain why you should play an MMORPG. The most important reason we play MMORPGs
Yeah, I love
are the relationships and memories created in the game. Whether it's people you have traded an item with,
I wouldn't trade without those
built
people.
relationships
I don't
with,
trust them.
cried, laughed, danced, cooperated,
I want to cooperate
competed
with whatever's
against.
going on there.
You want to ride on
or
ladybugs?
just had a
Yeah,
chat with.
mouse.
Yeah.
MMORPG is a genre that values relationships and memories with those you might just pass by
Should
or create lasting bonds with in the game's universe. Lost Ark will cherish and treasure your relationships and memories. We will offer a variety of experiences, things you can show off,
Oh hell yeah!
and a community.
What the fuck
We
is all
hope you will
this?
build
I
special
remember when I
relationships
said they
and
just
memories
embraced
in
theme
Lost
park.
Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Events are another draw for Arcasia.
Fucking
There are
water
many
gun like
seasonal
shit.
festivals,
PSO
islands,
vibes
and
almost.
cool
Yeah.
items awaiting you in Arcasia. Diverse events are also prepared for each season, which is another attractive feature of an MMORPG. So look forward to these. I won't say that Lost Ark is the greatest game ever. It would be unfair to compare us to a masterpiece MMORPG that you, or even I, went crazy about. Such as World of Warcraft or Diablo, the Bible of hack and slash. We know that compared to all these
While they're
legendary
bringing up
works,
other games by name.
we're a Makoko.
Pretty big in Korea.
But that means we're bringing our own unique charm. So please, stay tuned.
Fuck.
One thing's clear. Lost Ark will always
I'm more
be a better
excited for the
game
side
today
content.
than it was yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, this honestly makes me want to play this
There
like
is
right now.
no doubt that this is a game that will continuously
wanna
improve
be
with
whatever
you,
that little
our
chubby
adventures.
thing is. Yeah, this game really does look
If
like
you
it
love
has 7 years of content.
MMORPGs,
Yeah.
once
We're not
loved
getting that.
MMORPGs
Well,
but
that's
have
what I was
fallen out
curious
of
about.
love,
How much
or
of it
if
are we
it's your
getting?
first time playing an MMORPG,
I could be
how
wrong.
about
Is it
falling in
season
love
3?
with Lost
Season
Ark?
3 or something like that?
Do you know how many seasons there are?
Well, I don't know if the season was right where.
I am so happy and excited to greet you in Arcasia, the world that we've created.
But I don't know. Shit.
It would be smart for them to roll things out so it gives it artificial longevity over here. Like we have something to look forward to. But at the same time, too, I kind of just want the content. But you also have to have that learning experience of starting a MMO, and every time new things get introduced, you organically learn them, as opposed to having 7 years of a game dropped on you. You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
what do I do? What did that last thing say? It just shows Asmongold. With all RPG fans, they had to make that a point. They had to let people know. RPG fans. All right. Well, you've watched this already. What were your takeaways of it?
So I mean, like you said earlier, we've been kind of keeping an eye on this anyway. It's not like crazy amount. It would have been really easy to look into this game. It's been out already.
Yeah.
And there are content creators already for it.
Well, and we had people too every once in a while hitting us up on Discord, stuff like that. Like, hey, did you see the thing on Lost Ark? I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not out here yet. So
So with this, because it is effectively the launch
Yep.
information for the game, I wanted to check it out. I'm, as long as the free-to-play stuff is as nice as I've heard, looking forward to doing or playing the game.
yeah.
There's so much random stuff to do in this game, and I think that is so important. The MMOs that have always stuck with me the longest were ones that when I was done doing the grind, I still had a reason to log in.
Yeah.
And definitely seems like that kind of game. So I definitely really appreciate that. And the fact that like it can be serious when it wants to be serious, and then you can be a fucking panda rolling down a pathway. Like,
which, yeah, I mean, a good MMO should offer live-in qualities, things to do that don't have to be necessarily super serious. And yeah, when you're done with certain things, have other things to do. And then the social experiences of doing those kind of things, which is my favorite parts of MMOs. So MMOs that don't have a lot of social stuff typically are not what I'm looking for. I mean, I've played a lot of MMOs like I'm playing a single player game before, just because like I'm like, it's kind of neat, and I play through it. But
I play most of them.
Yeah, so. But you know, when I played a lot of PSO way back in the day, and then PSU, I played a lot of. I always really loved the social dynamic. The people who played those games liked being in that game, that world, and with all the social features you could do, you had like experiences that weren't just like, did you get to this part in the story? You know, it was pretty crazy, huh? Yeah, it was pretty. Oh, I don't really like it that much. Like the social aspect, the dynamic nature, things always randomly happening. With you know, friends or random people doing just weird shit. That's the stuff that's really interesting to me.
Yeah. You know, outside of that, I'm a big fan of the extremely high fantasy aspect of it. I don't like, especially playing something like this, I'm not looking for realism. I'm not looking for it to be grounded. I want it to be crazy. Because it's not reality, right? It's a fantasy world. I want it to be fully embracive of that. And so that's one thing I always appreciate, specifically in Asian games. Not saying the West doesn't do it, but it is more common, definitely in Eastern games. But
for sure,
unlike, you know, Horizon is pretty big and out of this world. So I am looking forward to that, obviously.
For like a Western game. Yeah. But yeah, it's not like, you know, a game like EDF doesn't exist. From like a Western
definitely
developer.
Not. Yeah.
It's such a stupid idea that's awesome.
Yeah.
That like most people wouldn't waste time working on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure some indie people on like Steam would maybe work on something like that. I mean, I was surprised when they made that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids survival game. Rare made that. I was like, that's cool. Like, that's not something I would really expect from somebody.
100%. Yeah.
So that was cool. But so it does happen, but on a more micro level than what you get out of Korean games, Japanese games. They definitely more often embrace larger than life and crazy zany shit just because they thought it up, and they're like, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, it seems a lot like they look at something and go, okay, how do we make this cool or cute? And that's the focus. Like, make it cool, make it cute. I
think there's just a stronger philosophy towards gameplay versus how far can we push the medium.
Yeah.
Which is a huge defining factor of both areas when it comes to game development. Because a lot of Japanese games, specifically Japanese games, are all about unlocking new systems later and the gameplay elements at the cost of, like, you know, whatever's happening in the story. Sometimes they play second to the gameplay itself. And then you play like a lot of Western games and it's all about
more of a cinematic,
how immersive and cinematic and movie like is that story, and how cool is the gameplay, and is there guns to unlock and upgrades, but you know, less about the actual, like, can you do crazy shit, blah blah blah. Anyway, that's all the conversation
for sure
we've had a million times.
So, but when we talk about MMOs, right? I'm generally not interested in the idea of like a real grounded MMO most of the time. I was very interested in New World. Unfortunately, it was not interested in my computer.
Yeah, they were not interested in you. They're interested in.
But that's a pretty grounded idea that MMO is. So, and I was interested in that. So it's not like I'm not ever, but this is definitely more my alley. I love the hyper crazy colors, the visual effects, the crazy, like, different, like, monsters and, like, game modes and stuff. So, yeah, I definitely look forward to it. I'm afraid of the time investment because I already played one MMO. So,
yeah, that's why I'm not going to go like super crazy on this, but I probably am going to make a character tonight. I'm pretty interested in the amount of content I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, overall, my impressions, first time I watched this video, it did way more for me than I expected it to. I think it was actually a really cool way to convey. This literally came off as somebody who worked on a game for a long time, knows what they got, and they know they're introducing it to a new group of people, and they're excited for you to experience their game. I really enjoyed the way, it's a video. They got to kind of talk a certain way, but it did seem kind of like straight up, like the dude's like, hey, this game's really fun. Like, you're going to do all this stuff. I like the presentation. I like when people tell you, they don't talk in like EA PR talk. It's just like straight up, you're playing a video game, you want to play video games, this is what our video game offers. And here's the reasons to be excited for it. And that's literally what this video did a really good job on that. And they're able to back their claim on that this game's fun. I don't know for sure if it's gonna be great, but like the amount of things they showed was way more than I thought.
Yeah.
I knew I'd be running around in fields killing enemies. I knew there'd be a storyline going on. I figured there'd be a couple things. Housing's not that surprising, but it kind of is too. So that's cool.
Those properties are huge.
But then I saw the properties. I'm like, oh, it's like properties too.
Yeah.
If this game didn't have housing, I wouldn't be surprised. But that it has housing, I'm like, cool. But yeah, the properties is really neat. The ship stuff, I kind of saw a little bit on before, but seeing it's actually like a pretty big component of the game, very cool to see. That's a lot of people doing something.
Yeah.
The amount of side things to do, though, the amount of the events that happen in the game really reminds me of like a Korean or Japanese MMO, which is something I really miss. These random weird events that like everybody's just running to go do. I kind of miss that, so that did get me pretty excited about it. The amount of like job type stuff you can do, I'm curious about. Any good MMO probably should have some kind of like crafting, hunting, profession type thing to do on the side. I know people who will go fucking crazy on shit like that. I always dabble a bit. If it's not that fun, I'll back away from pretty quick. I'm not really big on crafting and stuff, but it seems like there's something for everybody to do there. Combat's looking cool. I played it, so I know what to expect. It's very flashy. I saw a lot of moves I haven't seen when I played the game, so it's good to know there's going to be stuff to look forward to. The amount of environments is impressive.
Yeah.
The amount of places you're going to be going looks like it's going to be fresh every time you go to a new place. The idea of 100 islands, it's a big claim, and them saying, no, they didn't say every individual one was going to have its own individual thing, but they kind of alluded to that in the way they said it.
Yeah, it's pretty vague.
It was vague enough that if they didn't do that, you couldn't be angry at them. But it did sound like they're saying that every island's going to have some shit going on it, and it's going to be different. Yeah. That's really cool. 100 islands is a lot. Now, you could just cut and paste a lot of those islands and kind of do some small things here and there to change them up. And that would be realistic, and that's what I expect. If it's not that, I will be very impressed. That is a lot of stuff to do, a lot of places to go. There's such a thing as too much, though. I've played Assassin's Creed, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And yeah, I love all the random events. I like that there's stuff to find in the world. It seems like they've just really thought of a lot of things to keep you logged in. A lot of things to go do.
That isn't just the grind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is important because there are people out there who are like, I don't like grinding games. I don't mind it. As long as I'm working towards something that I want, I will fucking do some pretty monotonous tasks over and over again to grind if the reward is worth it. So I'm okay with the grind. And this game looks like there's plenty to do to grind. But yeah, there's a bunch of other things to do outside of that as well to keep it fresh, keep it interesting. And those are if done well, those are really important to make an MMO interesting. I always loved in older MMOs just deciding to go do something that was available that isn't like the main questing. And I played some that are straight up do your story, play through it. There's some PvP if you want to do that. So yeah, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing here. So yeah, overall, really cool. This really makes me want to get this downloaded right now and try it out. I am still worried about how they're going to handle the free-to-play aspect. I would have preferred to buy this game, like I did. I gave them money, so I'll get some rewards or whatever. But a premium MMO would be a lot more attractive to me. It can be done. There are good free-to-play games, but there's also plenty of them that
There are more bad ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's bad ones, there's really good ones, and there's ones in between that kind of start off pretty good. I get a little taste, and then I just go, this isn't for me. I move on because I don't like their model.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm ever being held back from content in a artificial way.
Which so far is not the case.
Yeah,
So.
I hope not. I hope I can just play this game from beginning to end and experience everything, and then I want to buy things from their shop or mounts or whatever. I don't know, some fucking outfits, something. If I'm into the game, I will want to give them money. I'm pretty good about that. So, and yeah, story. I mean, I don't expect much from it, but hopefully it's good. And yeah, everything's looking really cool. Really stoked to try this. It's dope that it's finally out. So I will be playing it. I'm sure we'll be talking about it on the next Tastecast.
Yep.
So if you're curious about our thoughts on that, look forward to the next Tastecast. Anything else?
Not really. I've already gushed.
Yeah. I feel like we could. The trailer did really good. I mean, it's 20 minutes, but they did a really good job on showing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff you could really dissect. If we were like a Lost Ark YouTube channel, we could make a whole episode on that video alone because there's so much shit they showed, and it all looks really cool. So hopefully it is. Hopefully it's not just all show. This game just really feels like something that somebody cares about who worked on it. So, and I appreciate that. I mean, even back in the day when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, they're really going all out with that shit. And it seems like they've continued to do that. So,
yeah, and it's funny too when I see stuff like this game as an example. This game's, I think, 7 years old. Imagine if that team started today, like what kind of crazy crap they would have made, or like how good the game would look. I don't know. It's always interesting.
Well, back then I thought that, but then if they started today, we'd get it in 7 years from now. So, and then we would be thinking about the exact same thing.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing about getting it late. But I kind of like getting them late too, and as long as it's not too late, just because there's a for sure future of content coming out.
Oh yeah,
because it's already been developed. So it's kind of nice to get, 'cause sometimes you get a brand new MMO and you get done with the content, and now you got to wait.
Yeah, and I think with how starved the MMO market is, they'll at the very least get a nice initial rush of people. Just got to keep them. So.
Between 14, WoW, all the other usual suspects, and then this coming out, being a brand new MMO, I am curious to see what the numbers on New World are like, because they're already pretty low.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah. So with another new MMO coming out, we need some big update for New World to get people excited about it again. Because
yeah, and unfortunately, first impressions are usually long lasting. So even with improvements, people are gonna still.
You got to really turn around.
Yeah,
so, for sure.
And that's up to Amazon. They're the ones paying the bills. So
yeah, well, that's the thing that bothers me is like Amazon can't afford to just be like, just scrap it.
Yeah.
So like, how serious are they taking it?
Yeah.
Fucking, it's up in the air. It's weird that 2 of the new MMOs are fucking Amazon. I think it's because Amazon's looking for fucking revenue.
Well,
monthly.
To go back to Sony buying Bungie, Sony's interested in service games right now. So I think we're gonna start seeing a flood of MMOs again. It's kind of exciting and scary.
Yeah. Not to get back on Sony too much, but they're expecting to have 10 live service games within like the next whatever amount of years.
That's so crazy.
And they have like 3 or 4 companies right now working on FPSs for them. So
interesting.
They definitely at some point had like a meeting where they're like, we need to start fucking attacking some of our weaknesses. Yeah. That's what it sounds like they're doing.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? No. All right. Let us know in the comments. What you guys think of Lost Ark Director's trailer? Did it do anything for you? Is there anything we missed, we didn't talk about that you'd like to hear us talk about? Possibly by then we'll have played it. But, throw it out there. Let us know. And, are you going to play this? Are you on the fence? Are you not going to play it? Does it look interesting? Does it not look interesting? Are you looking for a new MMO? Is this it? Is there something else you would like to see from MMOs? What do you think about the amount of content they showed off with this game? Have you actually played the actual, original version of this? Maybe you've played further into it. Is it worth continuing? I know some people play, the Russian version.
A lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
Played the Russian one.
So maybe you have some inside information. Maybe you can vouch for, it's great. Or, it does get kind of, lame later. I don't know. But yeah, let me know everything in the comments when it comes to your thoughts on Lost Ark, and are you hyped? All right, it's that time again where we review, go back and talk about prior episodes, and we read your comments. We got a lot of comments because we did a lot of videos last week. We did 6 videos last week, so make sure to go back and watch those if you're curious. They all got pretty good views, except for one of them lost views. Again, it's like the 3rd or 4th video that we've lost views on.
YouTube is doing things behind the scenes right now. They have to be. Because I've been in the middle of watching a stream. I watch a lot of my streams on YouTube, and there'll be like, as an example, 20,000 people watching, and then all of a sudden it's like 11. Like, that did not happen.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Thanos came in and took him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I think it's the Bungie video. We had like 100 views, something like that, but like now it's at 40. I'm like, where'd they go? Anyway, we did a bunch of videos, so make sure to go check those out if you didn't get a chance to watch them. There's a lot of them, but with that, we got plenty of comments, so I am going to only read a couple comments. So if you'd like to be read for sure on the old Tasty Cast, make sure to type in hashtag AskTLG on your comment, whether you have a question or you just have a thing you'd like to see our reaction to. Put that in your comment and we'll read for sure, unless it's something I can't read. Otherwise, I will be picking at random. I am going to read plenty of these, but I am cutting back on some of these because we got a lot of comments in the last week. So with that, we reviewed Dirt 5 Deep Rock Galactic Persona 5 Strikers on Plus Club. It's a really good conversation, and really interesting to find out people's thoughts on that month, because it seemed like across the board people pretty much liked most of the games. So in fact, Persona 5 on Reddit was probably the most divisive.
I can see that.
Very interesting. Yeah, so let's see, we got a couple of comments. One from Ryan Kahale that says, my question is, why would they put the Tiny Tina's DLC when they put the Borderlands 2 and all its DLCs last year, except for the Commander Lilith DLC? So essentially, why are we getting Tiny Tina again when we did technically get that with the Handsome Jack collection? Which I also think is really interesting. This is obviously a promotion for Wonderlands coming out next month.
Yeah.
Makes complete sense. And it is interesting that they took a DLC from a game that has a lot of content and they made it standalone. We will talk about our thoughts on that on Plus Club, but I do agree it is interesting. I think it's one of the first times I've seen a game re-released on PlayStation Plus, outside of, if you want to be technical, games that are on the PlayStation collection and come out on Plus. That's technically a re-release, but not on Plus. So,
and that's only for PS5 people.
That's only for, yeah. And I do like that system, because you bought a brand new PS5. Maybe you haven't played on PS4 before, and now you have a reason to know where you're going.
Hey, I've God of War.
Yeah. Now you know what to look forward to in the future with PS5. It's a good system. But yeah, I don't know why either. I think it's really interesting. Any thoughts on that?
It's 100% to advertise for the next game.
It's just,
that's all.
It's just promotion.
And
it does.
They obviously talked to someone at Sony, made a deal with them, and that's what it is.
They're like, look, Randy's really excited about this Borderlands movie that he's making, and he really wants this movie to come out, and he wants people to watch it. He wants to talk about this movie, but on the side, we also have this game coming out, and so it'd be kind of nice if people knew it was coming out, so maybe we can just like release some old content as a standalone. And so he's like, sure, yeah, that's more content for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
So, plus, not to defend it too much, because I do think, honestly, I'm just going to say it right now, I think it's kind of a cheap move to do it, but nothing I'm upset about. Perhaps somebody who played the last release of like Borderlands 2 on PlayStation Plus didn't get to that content, so now they can just jump into it directly. Maybe they didn't even know it was a DLC in that. So in that sense, I can kind of go, that's kind of cool, but not really. I get where you're coming from. All right. Anything else? All right. Next comment. And thank you for the comment, Ryan. Next comment is from Stick. Stick is back. Welcome back. He says, I haven't commented in a while. Life has been a bit wild this past year, but all for good things. I finally got my own place, so am just settling in and had a lot of other different positive things.
Good to hear.
It's very, very cool to hear. I did reply to you, and I'm just going to say this to you, but everybody else. The last 2 years have been kind of crazy for everybody, including myself. And, it's been rough for a lot of people. So, just wild in general. Things are all over the place. So it's good to hear you got your shit on track. Everything's going good and it's all positive or different positive things. It's really cool to hear. And also, again, welcome back. You were gone for a little bit there and I'm glad to see you again. On to the rest of your comment, which essentially seems to be a review. We got Stick saying, Dirt 5 is something I'm interested in trying out. With both that and Forza 5 Horizon being available for me to play is amazing for good arcade racers. 100% agree. Both those are really good arcade racers, and neither of them take from the other one. Yeah, so agreed. Really good balance. Like if you want to play some arcade racers and have fun with different kinds of arcade racers, you couldn't do better than those two games, really. In this point in time. He continues saying, Deep Rock Galactic is my favorite Left 4 Dead style game. I love how it is something completely different. I usually play the gunner, and I love how the DPS tank class has stuff to support, especially with the zip line. I can't believe how useful that is in a group. My friend plays Driller, which is also very useful, especially during escapes. I hate saying it this way, but I'm a Driller main. I love playing Driller, so I think they are the most useful class. But Deep Rock Galactic is a fantastic game. You should play it. It's amazing. But the way they have balanced the classes makes every single one have something that is useful to the team. And they did a great job on that. So even when you're the gunner and you're like, I shoot things, which has a place in a game where there's hordes or swarms coming after you, zip lines are really nice to have for a team. It's a really great way to get up and down for the whole team, because there's some characters that can get up and down on their own, but having that guaranteed way up and down is really good. He continues, last part, Persona 5 Strikers is something I am going to play after Tales of Arise. I would have played it last year, but I had recently beat Royal before it came out and didn't want to burn myself out on Persona. I know I will love the game as I am a big fan of Persona 5 and also enjoy the Musou genre. Plus anime stuff is my favorite, so the dialogue and everything isn't something that will bother me. Yeah, this game is a very to each their own thing. Like I said on Reddit, people either really liked it or really didn't like it. There were people who were like, I played it for like 30 minutes and couldn't stand it, and they hopped off. And other people were like, dude, I love this game. This game's great. I played the other game. It's great. And then there's a lot of people who are like, do I need to play the other game? And most people are like, you probably should.
Well, that's good to hear, because that's why I was skipping stuff.
Yeah. Well, I saw a couple people also say it doesn't really matter too much. So it was pretty divisive.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know, obviously, for this game so much, but I know even just anime in general is a pretty divisive one. Anytime, even if I'm on TikTok and anime content comes up, there's like half the comments are loving it, the other half are like complaining about it. So, kind of interesting that people can't just be somewhat balanced about things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. That's like the big... There's a couple things out there that like really just have like really feel niche. So
yeah, I would say someone who also enjoys anime stuff. I don't necessarily enjoy all anime stuff, and I won't defend all of it either. Like I do think there are a lot of pretty mediocre anime games, for example.
Plenty.
But when it's done right, I think it's a fantastic experience. So.
Oh yeah,
and Persona 5 is one of those. I think so.
It's also nice. I'm not going to continue in the responses because we're talking once I replied to you on here, but I asked you what you thought of Tales of Arise, and you pretty much have a similar take that I have. It's got its strengths, but it also has its weaknesses. So that was nice because I don't know a whole lot of people playing Tales of Arise, so I don't have anyone to talk to about it.
Yeah, and so one other person.
Yeah, so I asked him, and he just like he had his critique of it, and I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy because like there's some good stuff here. But it also isn't as good as like I wanted it to be.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for the comment, Stick. I'm glad you're back. Glad to hear from you again. I'm glad everything's going good for you. And thank you for the review because it's very good. really enjoyed reading it. Very thorough. Speaking of thorough reviews, I want to start implementing, bringing in some comments from Reddit. In case you don't know, every time we do Plus Club, I release a link to the video on the PlayStation Plus subreddit, and the mods over on the PlayStation Plus subreddit have been very welcoming to me, like very, very cool. Anyway,
shout out to you guys for sure.
Yeah, shout out to the mods on the PlayStation Plus subreddit. Since day one, when I post on there, a lot of places on Reddit, people will jump up your ass if you do anything self-promoting. And even though self-promotion is nice for the channel, I'm not honestly doing it like anyone who knows me. Like, I 100% appreciate this community, and I appreciate everybody who watches, but I'm not driven by like, I gotta get fucking more people watching me and shit like that.
Yeah, spoiler alert, we have a job outside of this.
Yeah, just normal shit. But so anyway, shout out to them because they've been really cool. They made me the first ever on that subreddit approved submitter, which means I can submit things and I've already been pre-approved by them, which was very cool. Anyway, so we have the conversation over there as well. I, of course, invite you guys to comment on YouTube, but over on Reddit, it's neat because some people who don't even want to watch the video, and I tell them, don't watch it if you don't want to watch it, can have the conversation over there. And we normally get quite a bit of people talking over there. And I read some of these things. I'm like, I need to incorporate that over on the podcast, on the show. So I'm going to read one of the reviews I got from that. I'll try and find a more streamlined way to do this. But it was such a good review that I wanted to read it. I actually asked them. This is Fuzzy Predator. That's her name. I asked if I could read it, and they're like, yeah, go ahead. So I'm going to do it. So this is from Fuzzy Predator saying, for me, it was a great, albeit slightly disappointing month, as I already had Dirt 5 thanks to EA Access, and being a Persona series fan, I bought Strikers as well as P5 and P5R, Steelbooks, and the dancing games at launch. What can I say about the games? Well, let's break it down game by game. Dirt 5 played on PS5, great racing game with some really nice graphics as well as haptic feedback. It really does feel amazing when you're driving down a rocky track as opposed to an ice track. Agreed, 100%. The graphics are also really nice. Some of the tracks with their weather changes really do make you say, wow. I remember starting a race during sunny weather. By the start of the second lap, it started raining heavily, so you could barely see the turns, and cleared up again at the end, or by the end of the race. Cars handle well, and the game should be an easy platinum for those that enjoy it. I did not platinum it, but I played it quite a bit, and I do agree. It's the cars, I mean, it's an arcade racer, so the cars all feel good. You don't really run into a whole lot of cars that like feel like shit. So continuing, Persona 5 Strikers. As a departure from the usual JRPG fare that regular games offer you, this game is a collaboration with Tecmo Koei and is closer to the warrior-style games 1 versus 1000. This game continues the story after the end of the original Persona 5, not Royal, so it might be a good idea to finish that game first. That's what we did. Well, we didn't finish the game, but we refused to play too far into this game. Continuing, without revealing too much of the storyline, the Scooby Gang go on a vacation around Japan and continue to do what they do best. Gameplay from region to region does get a little repetitive. Go to this area, collect secret, repeat times three, or
Three times.
Trigger some cutscenes, fight boss, watch more cutscenes, go to next area. While the gameplay loop doesn't change much, the story relations between old and new characters and the new big bad keeps you interested if you're a Persona fan. Overall, definitely recommend for fans. I think that's a good caveat. Yeah, if you're into it, you're into it, and if you're not, you're not. So this is not a game I would try to convince somebody who's not into it. They should be into it
for sure.
And then lastly, they continue, Deep Rock Galactic. Only played a few hours of this, and it seems like a fantastic game to play co-op. To be honest, I didn't enjoy it as much playing solo, as it was very repetitive. Go into mine, dig material, go deeper, kill some bugs, dig more, find the needed material, get to it, dig it out, go back, rinse and repeat. Looks like it could be fun with friends. It is fun with friends. So that's the way you should play. But I do miss the building mechanics of Minecraft Terraria, as I loved coming back to a base I built by myself from the resources I brought back. Sorry for the long post, but it has been the best month in a long time, even if I already had 2 out of the 3 games, so felt like giving my opinion. Don't be sorry. This is exactly why we do this channel, but also do Plus Club.
Yeah.
This is what I want. This is what I want from this is the end result I'm looking for. This is a great review, first off. I really enjoyed reading it. That's why I wanted to read it on the channel and or on the show. And it's a great breakdown. I pretty much agree with everything you're saying here. Dirt 5 is a good, clean-looking game with great controls, and the weather effects are definitely like its thing. Like that's the thing it's offering the other games don't. And you mentioned the haptic feedback, which doesn't get enough talk. I agree 100%. And then your Persona 5 Strikers, no spoilers, which I appreciated. And recognizing this game is for certain people, and they're going to love it probably, and certain people aren't. And as a person who couldn't hop into it as much as I would have liked to, your description of what to expect in it sounds like something I want to play. So I hope I get to the point where I can hop into that. And I enjoyed reading your Deep Rock Galactic review, because I think it's a fair perspective of acknowledging that the game's probably great to play co-op. You weren't super into the repetitive nature by yourself, and you would enjoy some building mechanics, similar to some games where you are also mining things. So I think it's a really well-rounded, as a Deep Rock Galactic fanboy, I think it's a really well-rounded critique and review of the game. It's amazing too on Reddit, man. Everyone loved Deep Rock Galactic. There's like one person who said, I don't get it. They weren't even mean about it. They're like, I just don't get it. I'm like, that's cool.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah. But like everybody else was like, I never played this before. It was like really fun. And the whole time I'm like, I know. And people are like, I love this game. I'm like, I know. Me too.
And that's great. It's funny too, because like to go back to Fuzzy Predator's breakdown here, I am actually pretty much on board with all 3 of these.
Yeah, really good.
It's how I feel about pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
I recognize Deep Rock Galactic as a neat game. It doesn't click for me, and I would rather play something like a Minecraft or Terraria when it comes to just gathering stuff and returning home. So, but yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about Deep Rock. It's just not my cup of tea. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is always interesting because obviously there's 3 chances there for me to disagree with you, and it's one of the few times that someone is like 100% on board the same way I am. So,
yeah. Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for your really good breakdown of the games. Hopefully we hear from you again on the next Plus Club, because I really enjoyed reading this. All right. And thank you everybody who commented on that last video. The next video was the video that got taken some views away. We're at 47 views again, so that's nice.
YouTube.
Thanks, YouTube. This is PlayStation buys Bungie and likely to buy more. We discussed more acquisitions, since that's the topic that will be 2022's fucking main thing. So we'll see. Anyway, we discussed that in detail. We had a great conversation, as we do, and you guys chimed in, and yeah, we're gonna read these comments. So first off, we got one from Salama. I am not sure how to say it every time I read it. I'm like, is this Salama? Salama? Says, happy birthday, dude. Thank you very much. I am 35. I feel 28. And had a good birthday. Yeah. 35 is the new 20 something.
Not for me.
I mean, my back and my bladder are one thing as I get older, but like, I don't feel old at all. Yeah, my birthday happened, and I appreciate the happy birthday wish. And then Tom B says, as you guys said, one studio is not a problem compared to a major publisher. Could be good. Time will tell. Edit. In normal times, it's good news, but in these times, the whole acquisition trend is not a good sign. Kind regards to y'all. Kind regards to you. We agree with you. You agree with us. I'm on the same page. Single studios, as much as I don't want to see the acquisitions in general, single studios don't bother me as much. The major publisher is shifting. It changes things. And so, we can do the one. It's a big one, but we can do the one, but I don't think it ends there. And so what's the future look like when we keep just changing the landscape of gaming? We're slowly going to turn into the two big dogs in the indies. And it's not really what I'm looking forward to. So, yeah. Time will tell, though. That is the major thing. But, yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. Have anything to add to that?
No.
Pretty much spoke for you because I know your opinion on it. So, and if you'd like to know our opinion on it, go check out that video. We need the views again because YouTube was like, psych. All right. Well, thank you, Tom B. Thank you, Salama. Thank you, everybody who watched that and commented. Moving on, we reviewed Icarus First Cohort, which is a survival game made by the guy who made DayZ. If you're curious about that game, our thoughts on it, or what we reviewed it, what grade we gave it, check out that episode. It was a good one. It was really interesting to have that conversation. And yeah, we got two masters in the comments. The first master is Puppy Master. Puppy Master says, in all caps, finally puppy time, with some heart faces. In the very beginning, we actually have quite a bit of animals here, but maybe we should just do a side video showing off the animals for people who are into that. Apparently somebody was. In the very beginning...
Can't go wrong with animals.
Yeah. I'm sure people would be like, oh, that's cute. Or be like, yeah, looks like a dickhead. Possibly. Yeah, they said finally puppy time. In the very beginning, we got a brand new puppy, a little palm puppy. He's a little rambunctious fucker, but he's young. He's brand new around here, and at the time he was like whining a lot if he's left alone. So we put him in this little octagon little thing for him to sleep in. He slept through the whole episode, so that was great. But I gave a warning. I was like, if you guys hear something, it's that guy. And we have to make sure he's cool, so because he's brand new. So, is appreciated by Puppy Master though. So, I'm glad we could help with that. And then the other master, we got Puppet Master, returning as well. We got a lot of people returning. 2021 took people, and now they're coming back. Welcome back. Puppet Master says, "Heyo, been a while. When Chris get long hair and glasses? Lol." With a bunch of emojis.
A completely different anatomy at that.
Yeah. A lot has changed with Chris. He even changed his name to Sarah. Was interested in the game, but my survival love has died down a bit. Maybe I'll buy it when it comes down to $20 or so, and in the mood for another survival game. And game of the month for March, Elix won. Well, Elix is not anywhere near me. On purpose and is not on our list. But Josh has played it. So if you really want that Elix content, I could always ask him.
I don't even know what that is.
It's one of those like janky ass, like ambitious by someone who can't handle it games. It's like a open world RPG, but it's made by some company that they're trying, and maybe in the future they'll make something really great. But it's one of those early things where it's like it's janky as fuck.
Gotcha.
And that's Josh's.
Josh loves it.
Josh loves those games. I actually bought it for him, I think, for his birthday when it came out, because he was kind of curious about it. He was like, I don't know, like I'll just fucking buy it for you, dude. Let me know how it is.
Yeah.
He said it had some cool stuff to it.
Interesting.
As for survival games, $20, I think $20 is fair. And I'm a huge survival game fan, but my love has died down a bit too, just because a lot of the games kind of followed the same systems and nobody's really inventing much on it. I, of course, had to play this one because I was a big fan of DayZ, as I've said a million times. I just want to see what he's bringing to it, and it is cool and worth it to me. I highly recommend it, but... yeah, if you're not, it is survival. It's a survival game, 100%. And if that doesn't sound like something you're super into at the time, just wait on it. But it's good for sure. But it is 100% a survival game. And then just to clarify, I'm sure everybody kind of knows. I mean, if you're in the Discord, you know. But Chris is doing personal things in school and stuff like that, so he hasn't been on the show as much. We didn't kick him off. There was no kind of weird situation. He's just prioritizing something, and we're respecting that. He's doing his thing.
Real life comes first.
But in the meantime, Sarah's shown interest in wanting to come on and talk about games with us, because she plays a lot of games as well. And it's been fun having a new perspective. early on in this channel, I actually invited like a lot of people. I'm like, hey, if you want to be on sometime, I would love to get like new minds, new thoughts, all that kind of stuff. Most people are pretty intimidated by the idea of being online, so a lot of people wouldn't come on. So as soon as she was like, showing interest, and she's playing the games we're playing anyway, like on PlayStation Plus and stuff, and I was just like, just come on. She's been enjoying it, so it's been fun having a new perspective on games. So
for sure,
that is Chris. That is the new Chris. But and to also clarify, if Chris ever wants to come back on, he's always invited. So
not that he should have to think about it.
Yeah, for sure. But it's not like there's been like a replacement, like we need 3. For a while, it's just me and you. And if it comes down to it, you guys will just be watching me because I like making the content. But yeah, I mean, especially if you're a close friend of ours, like you're always invited. I always tell Cody, I'm like, you can be on any episode. Or Josh, I'm like, any episode, just come on.
Yeah. And if you guys are ever curious how he's doing, I talk to Chris almost every day. So I will let him know.
And how's he doing?
He's doing good. He's busy.
That's good.
And then when he's not busy, he spends most of his time in Final Fantasy 14. That's kind of his wind down place. So
it's my wind down place when I play. Dude, I get sleepy.
Well, that don't happen to me, but I'm usually too busy.
Yeah, I'm not doing what you guys are doing. I was doing the original content.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the comments, Masters. Hopefully I hear from both of you again.
I hated that sentence.
It was so weird when I originally read Puppy Master, because in my brain I was like, oh yeah, I know Puppy Master, and I looked up, I'm like, Puppet. No, I know Puppet Master. How many masters are there? Too many. All right, thank you for the comments. All right, last video I watched Ghostwire Tokyo's showcase. Actually, really,
I wasn't awake yet.
Yeah, no, it was early. It was an early one. But whether you watch my episode, which you should if you want, or just watch it in general, check out this game and let me know what you think of it, because they're doing some really cool stuff with this game, in my opinion. With that, we got a comment from Jeremy saying, "Love the thumbnail." So I experimented with putting my face on the thumbnail, and I made a really dumb face. Oh, you guys can't see it right now. Go check out the video, Ghostwire Tokyo. I made like a shocked face you see in like paranormal YouTube videos.
Or all YouTube videos?
Yeah, all of them. Well, because I thought about it, and I know this because the older thumbnails used to have our faces on them all times. But people typically, when they're looking through fucking videos and shit, if they see somebody, they know what they're getting into. They know that's the person they're going to be listening to. Whereas if you're scrolling through and everybody has like the same thumbnail of like the same picture of the same game, it's easy to kind of bypass those. So I was like, will this affect the views? It got 142 views. Yeah. I mean, our average now is about 100 views, which is crazy because I remember when this channel used to get like 15
for sure
per video. So I mean, it's going up. But yeah. So don't be surprised if I put my face on another thumbnail, because I'm kind of curious about how that'll be received. But yeah, the face is goofy as fuck on purpose, and apparently my glasses threw people off. I don't wear them often, so
yeah.
So I'm glad you loved the thumbnail. I made it just for you, Jeremy, just for you. TLG Chevmo, this guy over here, said Ghostbuster no Jutsu.
Hand signals.
Yeah, it is definitely full of that. So make sure to go check out that video.
I also said
so fucking cool.
The game was pure visual porn for me.
Yeah, in fact, he wasn't there for that episode, but you had talked to me outside of the channel, and you're telling me that you're like, there's not really it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of scary stuff happening in that. I might actually pick it up.
Yeah. And
in the video, they actually said that they normally make horror games, but this is a action adventure game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool because The Evil Within was really good. I love Evil Within 1 and 2. They're super underrated, but they're horror games. I couldn't be like, hey, you should play those games. But they're really fucking cool, especially the second one. I really liked it a lot. So the minds behind that, making a new game, I was already sold. But then I saw it, I'm like, holy shit. And then you're like, I think I'm going to play them. I'm like, fucking you should, dude, because these guys make dope-ass games that you can't play. So now's the time.
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up on PC if I do pick it up, though.
Oh, yeah, that's where I'm.
A shooter, quote unquote.
Yeah, well, it's for first person. I much prefer using a mouse. And then the last comment we got is from Tom B again, saying, looks sick. Shinji Mikami. I almost said fuck something else. Mikami at it again at full steam. Yeah, dude. Every time this guy shows up with a game, it's always so his signature. He doesn't really half-ass anything if it's got his name on it. It's got his flair to it, and it's typically a full-fledged game. And I mean, I've always respected the guy a lot, especially with a lot of the games he's done in the past. But I mean, he's a legend. But what he's doing with like Tango Gameworks, you know, you get kind of worried when somebody leaves like Capcom or something like that to make their own thing. Is it going to be good? And I think he's been knocking out of the fucking park, even though the reception hasn't been as big because they're not established franchises. I do think Ghostwire is going to get, unless it sucks, it looks like it's impossible for that game to suck. But I feel like that game's going to blow up, hopefully. But yeah, I just been happy to see what he's making, what took him away from what he's doing before was worth it, because I'm loving everything he's making lately. So like I'm like a big fan of him now. Anything to add?
No, not really. You know, just that it does look pretty sick. I literally can't get over the visual style. I think it's extremely attractive. So.
Very cool. Yeah, everything about it. I was just looking, I was like, holy shit. I just want to play this just to like look at it.
Yeah.
But the gameplay looks fun too. Like,
yeah, the aesthetic is just
awesome. I was even happy that like the cutscene, the acting, the facial mocapping, everything was like really good. Like everything was super compelling about the game. I was like, this is like a legit fucking game they're making here.
The yokais are real creepy looking too, which is nice. So
yeah, when they originally showed the first concept stuff, I was like, it's got a cool style, but like, is it going to be like stiff? It's first person. Sometimes, you know, when you go from third person to first person games, if you haven't really made a whole lot of them, it can kind of feel weird, but like it looks AAA as shit. Yeah. Like these guys look like they've made a fucking 1,000 games like this. So it looks better than most games that are first person. So I was very happy with that.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
On anything at all? All right. Thank you, everybody who commented on this video. Tom B, Jeremy, Chevy, and thank you, everybody who commented on prior episodes as well. Type in hashtag AskTLG if you want your comment to be read. I skipped a bunch of them this time around. So that's a guaranteed way to do that. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Taste the Cast, episode 160. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. We've got plenty of them last week. Check out our links and streams down below. I do want to get back into streaming, and I've mentioned this prior episode, but I'm just gonna say it again. I kind of want to do like I want to start scheduling at least a day a week to do a stream, so you guys know when to come back. But we'll get there when we get there. Yeah, we have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. If you prefer to listen to us, shout out to the people who listen to us. Those numbers are slowly going up. So people are just listening to us on top of the views we're getting on YouTube. And it's very cool to know that even outside of YouTube, we got more people engaging with what we do. So that's really cool. And we got a Patreon. If you like to support the channel, more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, it's all appreciated. Anything you do to support the channel. And yeah, I've been Seth. Chevy, thank you for joining me, and I'm sure I'll see you soon for something, and I'll see you guys soon. But until then, have a good one and take it easy.